Welcome back, everybody, as we are joined by Impaler, the jungler for the Super Hot Crew after winning versus SK Gaming. Quite a long game again, and let's take it back to the beginning to pick some bans. And you guys banning out the Wukong. Do you know something we don't?
I played against him a lot in solo queue today while he was streaming as well, and he played Wukong and I played Pantheon. Though I won, like, I don't like what he brings to the team fight, and I've seen it a lot in NA, so I was like, yeah, we'll just put a ban on him and force him onto the Lee, which was like all predicted.
So from your side of things, they banned out Vi, they've banned out Elise. Obviously, they were trying to get you out of the game completely. You've been reverting to Xin Zhao. This time, obviously, you went for Pantheon. Was that a team call that you go some other direction than Xin Zhao?
He fits my style a lot. Like, I like being the one to choose when we engage. I'm known for my decision-making and not so much my mechanics, so Pantheon brings that. It's all aimed, and then you just go in.
Maybe talk to us a little bit more about that, because if you normally have a Xin Zhao or a Vi or an Elise even who just jump in, now you have to maybe play in a different way to get behind the team even. It's a different kind of engage.
Yeah, it's different, but engaging is still engaging. You've just got to be the guy that says go, and then if your team are willing to follow you, it's all the same.
We saw a couple of combos actually down by Dragon, the ones that really come to mind, where you waited and waited and waited by the Dragon, then you jumped in behind them, comboed it then with the ace in the hole is the one that, the first one that happened. How important were those picks, so to say, down by Dragon in terms of keeping on level in the game?
I didn't actually lose like any dragons or any minions at all from smites today, so I'm pretty happy in that sense. And yeah, like early dragons, we're known for our early aggression, so dragon's pretty important for our style.
Well, you got helped a little bit by the Gragas, who helps you out a lot if you need to secure that objective, of course, not taking anything away from you. Tell me a little bit also about the game playing against Jessis. Jessis, who has been not that much of a huge factor yet, but yet he still brought you in trouble in the beginning of the game. How hard it is to play against LeBlanc that could be practically anywhere, waiting in the bush?
It's just really annoying. Like, you go to Water Brush or you go to Clear Brush, and there's Jessis ready to ruin your day again. And luckily, we got around it towards the end, but there were a few messy picks by him that he did well. But yeah.
Is that why you spent so much? I mean, I saw 3 and 4, maybe even 5 ace in the holes. You spot Jessis, throw it straight in there. Is that in anticipation and get him as low as you can, as often as you can? Yeah,
like it forces our control, because then Mundo has to move in case we contest an objective while Jessis recalls. But it's a combo we really like to do. We really like Kate into the LeBlanc, because like you see, she goes like 40% HP when he ults.
Well, this is a win for you guys as a Super Hot Crew. Tell me a little bit about how the team is right now, because in the beginning it was, oh, we just got into the LCS. We didn't have that much time to practice. How is it going now? How do you, what do you think of your skill level right now?
We still struggle at shutting out games, but it's something we're working on. Like, that game was an example. We should have shut out sooner, but it took time. So if we work on that, I think we'll be a really good team.
What's your situation right now? Because a lot of people don't hear a lot from the Super Hot Crew. We know other teams have gaming houses where it makes it obviously easier to work on things like shutting out games. How are you guys handling it, and what's your situation there?
We should be getting a gaming house soon. So as soon as we get into the rhythm of life, as Mixer says. And then, yeah, I'm sure we can contest the best teams and hopefully put on a good show.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again, Impaler. And now we're going to flash back over to D&D.
Thank you very much, Shox and Joe. Great to hear from Impaler as well. So, Copenhagen Wolves versus Fnatic is the next game. Big, big game. And of course, well, the Copenhagen Wolves, they have performed well in their opening 2 weeks. They picked up 3 wins. Not a bad start. But so how do you rate their beginning to the season?
It's actually a perfect score, because it reflects them as a team. They don't really have any weaknesses, but at the same time, they don't have many strong points either. They're just good all around. The champion pool, though, is a strong part for them.
And of course, we've seen Kautar, the mid laner. He's played 6 different champions so far in the LCS.
Yeah, I mean, Kautar has been not only playing 6 different champions, he's also drawing bans. Kayle and Kassadin has been taken out in 5 out of 6 games versus Copenhagen Wolves. And it opens up for the rest of the team to pick their main champions. For instance, for Given to pick up Lucian pretty much every game.
And the surprised look on his face when you realize you're talking about him. But he's often had to blind pick champions as well, because everyone's trying to counter him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you feel so confident in the things you play, and at the same time your team rates you as, we can just pick your champion now, it's going to be a mixed success. Because once you get counterpicked, it's very hard for him to do anything.
But of course, they are up against Fnatic, who, well, we saw earlier on, they continued their perfect start to the season. Now 6-0 in the season. And, you know, up against Rocket, it was a big game. Question is, though, Do you think they maybe put too much focus in that and maybe haven't focused on the Wolves?
I think Fnatic learned a few things from last season where they had times where they didn't actually prepare too much for certain matches, and it hurt them because they lost those matches. I don't think they'll do the same mistake. This is a team who really wants to show they are the best in Europe, and they want to just keep winning. So I think they prepared quite enough for this. And if you look at the game versus Rocket, it was a Fnatic team starting out very strong, but then, overextending a little bit in team fights, and Rocket was amazing to counter-engage. In the end, though, they managed to pull it through.
Well, I want to inform you guys at home, however, this is not as clear-cut as it seems, because Fnatic have 2 bans taken away from them, because first, they had an unauthorized post against Rocket, which was a faux pas on their part, and then Peke talked during the pause. That's something you cannot do. Now, you can see these guys have all got headsets on their head. We have guys that do listen to the audio, so Peke, talking through that, obviously gave a problem to the team, and losing 2 bans in the pick ban phase, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, especially against Copenhagen Wolves, where Kautar plays both Kale and Kassadin. They always ban away against them. If they ban one of them and Fnatic takes the other one, they can just first pick Elise now for Copenhagen Wolves. Another huge deal. So this opens up everything for Copenhagen Wolves.
Well, of course, Fnatic knows they need to be careful against the up-and-coming Copenhagen Wolves, especially since they will be looking to draw first blood against their former teammate, Reckless.
I think Wolves are one of the best improving teams right now.
They've been looking very strong, and they have one of our former teammates, so we have extra motivation to beat them.
I feel like versus Copenhagen Wolves is gonna be about me and the mid lane a lot.
If we initiate the lane swap, we will be deciding the pace of the game from level 1.
It's going to be difficult to overcome them, but we probably want to shut down Xpeke and have Kautar become strong and roam around the map.
As long as we're in the control, I don't think the rotation will matter too much, but if we ever let them get ahead and start controlling the game, we're gonna have troubles.
If I get the advantage on mid lane, I think we will win. If I die, I think they will win.
Going 28-0 isn't gonna happen, so why wouldn't we be the team to beat them?
Well, you heard their game plan. We'll see if it works out for them. Let's check out those starting lineups. So, starting out on the blue side, it is going to be the Copenhagen Wolves. In the top lane, Youngbuck, the jungler Amazing, who has played fantastic so far this season. Kautar in that mid lane, played 6 champions so far, Forgiven as the AD carry, and Unlimited is the support.
And on the red side, we have Fnatic, with Source in the top lane, Cyanide in the jungle, Xpeke in the mid lane, Reckless as the AD carry, and of course, Yellowstar on support.
Reckless with his stylish new haircut.
Justin
I think
Bieber
we
here.
can say. Maybe Justin Bieber, who knows. Of course, our featured matchup for this game, it's them junglers that I mentioned, Amazing versus Cyanide. We've already heard from Cyanide, of course, in his interview. And these are 2 junglers that play very different team roles.
It is. I mean, Amazing is pretty much the entire backbone of Copenhagen Wolves' early game. He's part of 85% of their kills. They have 72 team kills, so he's been part of 61 kills in total. That is a huge deal. Cyanide, on the other hand, he has the highest KDA of the junglers, but he doesn't really have to do too much in the early game because the Fnatic laners are so strong. We know, though, from Worlds, how good he is when he actually has to step up. He mentioned it himself in the interview, how, he needs the pressure on him to really show what he got. So once we see Fnatic actually starting losing the laning phase, I expect to see Cyanide stepping it up.
And this is probably the most experienced team, other than Gambit maybe, that are currently in the European LCS. But of course, these guys have been there, done that. They've just really been run through the ringer against Rocket. They went to 51, 52 minutes, I believe it was. They were stretched all the way. Does that give you an advantage, or is that a bit of a mental drain on you? Because they've only had 1 game break. Obviously, they've sat back, had to talk about this game. But the fact that they've just had a 51-minute epic, which went really back and forth right to the limit, they could have lost that game quite simply. Will that took their mind off the Wolves?
I don't think so. I actually think this was a huge boost for them. They now got confirmed they have beaten every single team in the EU LCS. They are the top team. And when you have such an epic long game, you just it is mentally huge for you. You just go into the next game and say, you know what, I can fly. I can do whatever I want now because we managed to beat Rocket in an amazing game. And these players are used to playing multiple games a day. So having one going to 51 minutes, that's not an issue.
Yeah, of course, the streamers sell at home. You guys have all seen them probably streaming. And they do play for many hours, as does many gamers out there. So, picks and bans about to get underway. So, Copenhagen Wolves, of course, with the first ban. But remember, Fnatic do not have 2 bans in this. So, we're going to have a rather large period where you can see they're just going to have to sit there and wait for those 2 bans to not be used. So we're going to have a lot of time to fill here. Soaz is just waiting. This is the first time he doesn't have to do anything during the picks and bans phase. But Gragas was taken away from this one by Wolves.
Yeah, I like this ban because Xpeke has been dominating on it. Game before with Fnatic and Rocket, we saw the Gragas first pick simply to avoid him having it. So I like this ban. I expect to see maybe a Jinx as well to touch more on the comfort champions of Fnatic. And we have seen Reckless on Jinx. That is insane.
Well, Orianna, the second ban. Everything being focused on Peke so far in that mid lane. Maybe Kautar has a plan, but you know, we talk about obviously Fnatic having the 2 bans. This also affects Copenhagen Wolves because 2 bans not being used suddenly leaves a lot of things open. And as the blue side, they're only going to get 1 pick at the start.
Exactly. So if both Elise, Kassadin and Kayle is open, which one do you take? And you're going to give 2 of them to the other team maybe. That's not ideal. At the same time, you normally also want to avoid something like Yellowstar having Annie because he's so good on it.
Well, I'm expecting Kassadin to maybe taking away Yasuo being used as that ban. Interesting, because we haven't yet seen that perform that brilliantly in the LCS. So this time, Fnatic do have a ban. What will Soaz go with?
Kassadin or Kayle or Elise. That's my 3 ideas. It was the Kassadin. I think actually they just expected the first pick Kassadin due to all the bans towards the mid lane and everything they could actually do well versus Kassadin in lane. So Copenhagen Wolves kind of set up this ban.
Well, it is Elise first pick straight away for the Copenhagen Wolves. And it's going to be amazing in the jungle, we suspect. So, with all these options open, what will Fnatic go for? Will it be that Annie? Will it be Jinx?
We have pretty much everything else open except for Pega's picks. He can go for Kayle though, if it is. But now we have the Jinx, we have the Annie, we have Fresh, we have Dr. Mundo top lane, we have Trundle, we even have Lee Sin for Cyanide, and we also have Renekton.
Well, Renekton maybe taken away for Youngbuck. If anyone's going to know how to counter it, it will be Youngbuck. It's predominantly his main champion. There is potentially Yellowstar's Annie. Haven't been locked in yet. They've got 10 seconds to make that choice. There is the Annie chosen, and there is the Renekton for Soaz.
Now what will Youngbuck actually answer with? We saw him play Renekton versus Trundle matchup with Wicked, went fairly even, and he's been talking about how he thinks Trundle is very strong at the moment. Will we see him pick it up? If they get this kill as well though, they're getting a lot of the strong picks.
So I want to cast your mind back to the Season 3 finals. You were there yourself, you were alongside me, and you know there was counters to Renekton every step of the way in that.
There were counters, I mean, well, nothing really that beats him in lane, but more things that could go even with him. Trundle can do fairly well, then there's something like a Shen, who can actually hold his ground versus Renekton. He will get pushed down to the turret, but at least he's able to farm and not die to the Renekton early game.
Well, Kayle has slipped through the cracks due to those bound potentials, and maybe Kautar is going to go with it. Yes, he will, and also, this could be unlimited on Karma support.
Yeah, it's a very mobile team already.
Or is it Karma top?
I haven't seen Youngbuck play much AP champions, except for the Vladimir, but I've actually never seen him play something like a Karma or a Kennen top, or, you know, so I'm not expecting him. We saw Unlimited play Karma last week. It went fairly well, and it's pretty good versus Annie because you can stop some of the burst with your shield, and you have a lot of poke early game versus the Annie.
Well, you got a long range as well. Zed being hovered over here. Is going to be Peke? Will it be Cyanide maybe as well? Because we have seen Jungle Zed coming out of Diamond, remember, just last week. Reckless, of course, with you, the choice. I'm expecting Jinx from Reckless here.
Yeah, Jinx with Annie, we've seen it before for Fnatic. Oh, if they do this Caitlyn though, a bit more safe, and once they get to the real late game part, he's actually going to start doing a lot. But we have seen it before when he couldn't really get kills in the lane, how Fnatic were kind of slow at getting started.
Olaf potentially coming out for Cyanide in that jungle. Sivir we just saw on Candy Panda. Reckless is saying, oh, I'll show you how to play that champion.
Well, Sivir Olaf, it's a combo that, you know, fits together really well. You can just dive onto the backline with it. You have so much move speed, and you know you can't stop an Olaf once he pops his ultimate. So I expect the Sivir pick to be more to help the Olaf out, the more just, you know, Reckless what he wanted to play himself personally.
Yeah, and it's a scary thing with a Ragnarok on the hunt.
Yes, exactly.
Olaf coming charging at you, and with Ghost as well. He could be piling through that team. Looks like it may be Trundle in that top lane. Maybe Youngbuck looked at that lane matchup that he had against Wicked, where he lost out effectively against Trundle with Renekton, and he feels he can do the same up against Soaz.
It's going to be a true test for him right now. Just you said, he played against Wicked all the way around and he actually lost it. He needs to go in and show now towards the source that Trundle is the stronger pick and that he doesn't mind playing against Renekton at all.
Oh, He's got teleport selected currently. It is going to get locked in. That's going to be a Caitlyn and Karma bottom lane as well. Final choice here. What will Peke go with?
We have a lot of bans on the mid lane.
Won't be Teemo, I don't think.
Probably not the Teemo.
Probably not Tristana either. Zig's available. Kha'Zix's available.
Kha'Zix is open, yeah. I mean, Zed is still open, but it would be kind of counter-picking yourself into a KO. Six would provide a lot of wave clear for them. They right now have Olaf and Sivir to do most of the wave clearing. Together with Six, it's going to be very hard to push on them. And at the same time, he can stay back and help Rickless a little bit, dealing with, you know, the Trundle running in.
Yeah, he can slow them down, he can blow them up, he can throw their Mega Inferno bombs from range as well to back up Cyanide as he charges through the team. So, what do we make of the two picks? Fnatic had a lot of what they wanted, I feel, here, and as did the Copenhagen Wolves. I feel that they're both going to be happy coming out picks and bans.
Yeah, I think both teams are pretty satisfied. I like what Fnatic has done here. They have very little instant single target burst damage. It's more AoE based, you know. Olaf, they want everyone to go in and get multiple targets low, so Kartra doesn't know exactly who to ult. If they'd gone for more, you know, single target heavy combo, it would be a lot easier for Kartra to do, you know, his ultimates. Right now though, I actually really enjoy or like Fnatic's combo, and I think if they get to the team fights with a fairly farmed Olaf, with the speed up from Sivir, he can do a lot of damage, and we can actually see Cyanide really stepping up his game.
Well, remember, this is the first game of the day for the Copenhagen Wolves. They're currently 3-3 up against Fnatic, who are now 6-0. The perfect start for them. And as this match begins, let's total up the votes. According to LoLesports.com, a whopping 90% of you have picked Fnatic to continue their winning streak. No surprises, I don't think.
No, you can't really be surprised. They have won every single game so far, and they're looking so dominant. Going into this game, pick-wise, I will also give it to Fnatic.
We'll see whether they do manage to continue their winning ways. Of course, if you've missed any of the action today, get over to LoLesports.com and you can, which you're probably watching it on now, to be honest. Most people will be on there watching the stream. So you're watching us on there, just a couple of tabs in the top. Open up a couple of new tabs and you can check out all the stats, everything that is on that website. So, as the game loads in, you're predicting Fnatic to win this. I think I'm going to have to go with you. We'll see, though, ladies and gentlemen, as the Copenhagen Wolves take on Fnatic.
We have to point out one thing.
Okay.
If we go to the late game with a Kayle and a Caitlyn on Copenhagen Wolves' side,
yes,
they will actually be able to do a lot of damage. And also Trundle, once he steals the stats from the Necton, will be very hard to kill. So this actually, it's so even.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on Kautar to play that Kayle. We've seen some absolutely magnificent Kales from the likes of Overpower so far, so we'll see how it works out. So, Copenhagen Wolves starting out as the blue team and Fnatic as the red team, and it's looking like Fnatic may well have something up their sleeve.
They are, at least every one of them, moving to the bottom side of the jungle. Will they actually try and go in and force Forgiven out and maybe get some vision control in the jungle of Copenhagen Wolves?
As it stands, we have a dancing sign on. Peke stood off to the side there. And it is going to be Peke heading in there. Unlimited will step away from this one. Yellowstar moving in with that stun ready and waiting. Soaz is going to be backing him up. There's a 4-man invade down towards this bottom lane, but Forgiven does manage to land a shot. And Soaz, who continues to do a little dance.
Now, Copenhagen Wolves is a team who always talks about lane swapping. They like to lane swap even in the new patch. It will be surprising to see if they, or actually going to be exciting to see what they will do right here. Do they want to avoid having Youngbuck versus Soaz or not?
Yellowstar continues to keep them poked. Youngbuck desperately trying to get in there. Does manage to put the ward down, waiting for them timers, of course, to come up and immediately throwing down all those wards. So despite that invade, it's really only about simply getting the ward in the tribush.
One thing we have to touch on. We have Ignite on Soaz, Teleport on Youngbuck. This should give a huge deal or advantage for Soaz early game, and he should be able to bully out Youngbuck.
It's something that I remember Froggen always saying, you only take teleport if you're planning on losing the lane. Youngbuck, however, takes it because he believes that's how you win the lane with a Trundle. We'll see if it works out, see if this theory crafting has worked out for him. Cyanide taking the red buff, starting off there. Blue buff start for Amazing. No invades coming out from either team.
Very standard start all around. We're going to see pretty much every lane we wanted. It's going to be fun to see how much Unlimited can actually do early game with his insane poke on Karma.
Yeah, Reckless already taking some burst there from Unlimited and Forgiven. So immediately dropped to half the hit point, which means that lane will be shoved a little bit. Remember Reckless, he started off as MVP in week 1, unkillable in the first 3 games, finally went down in his 4th game, but setting records in the LCS for KDA.
Now, this mid lane, Peke has been so amazing, this LCS. Pretty much every game he's winning his lane and he's just rotating around the map making plays. Can he do the same though versus Kautar, who's having Kayle, a champion he really likes to play?
Cyanide takes that blue buff, no problems there. We'll see whether he goes for any kills maybe in any of the lanes. Doesn't seem that any lane needs any help or support, so let's keep our focus on this one, because Kautar, we mentioned it at the start, how he's played 6 different champions. This time it was his choice. He had a lot open to him and he chose to go for Kayle.
I think Copenhagen Wolves, instantly as they heard about the bans, just said, you know, we want to try and get 2 of these very strong picks. So there was really no doubt when they actually picked the Kayle.
And Elise, of course, being that first one, which a lot of junglers do prize as being one of those top picks right now. Forgiven, stunned up. Cyanide coming around the side there. Not enough damage done, but the axe does manage to land on towards Unlimited. Do manage to get the slow once again on towards him. Picks up the axe once again. Gets that reset. Coming down, Unlimited will be first blood. It's Cyanide that goes down. Amazing. Side steps on the cocoon. Teleport coming down from Kautar. Youngbuck, sorry, catching on towards him. Cyanide taking low. Good pillar of fill there, catching him down. Does manage to get a return kill. Cyanide going down. That's a double buff transition as well. They're going to continue chasing. Piltover doesn't find his home, but that's Youngbuck now with a double buff.
And that's action from the start. Great gang from Cyanide at first. He walks all the way around, so there's no wall to spot him in the river, and he managed to pick up the kill. The TP though, for Youngbuck, if he didn't pick up the kill, he would have been very far behind. He just managed to get the double buff now as well, so once he returns to lane, let's see what he can do with it.
Well, he's going to be up against Soaz. We'll see whether it works out for him. Of course, he did lose out on farm while he did that, and you can see, obviously, Soaz has shoved that wave on towards the turret, got himself a lead in the farm. Youngbuck, of course, returning with that chain vest, expecting to have to butt heads with Soaz. Soaz himself is backing off as well. He's going for the Doran's Blade, so he wants to keep the pressure on.
He wants to fight. He even picked up a longsword right now, so he's expecting Youngbuck to go aggressive on him, and he wants to be able to respond.
Well, 3-man push still coming out from the Copenhagen Wolves in this bottom lane. Amazing sticking around and really putting pressure on towards that bottom lane turret. They want to try and take a big advantage over Fnatic here. That Boomerang Blade coming out, but Yellowstar and Reckless kind of helpless here because Reckless still yet to go back. Still only at half health, just trying to take down those minions. And again, that turret nearly down already.
Yeah, I mean, Copenhagen Wolves can keep pushing this because, as you just said, Reckless, he's on 50% and he hasn't backed yet. So there's pretty much no threat of them actually dying to this 3v3 from Fnatic's side.
Yeah, they're keeping the pressure down. Youngbuck in that mid lane. Peke is going to get focused on. Does blow Kautar back. Kautar himself with no mana, so he's going to have to back away from that one. It's the bottom lane we want to focus on, though. Youngbuck is going to come around. Is he coming for the middle? He is.
Youngbuck is just making plays all around the map. He's just saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with you, Source, at all. I'm going to try ganking mid now.
Oh, Kautar setting up for this one. Has got Flash Ignite if he needs it. Does manage to get the pillar down on Peke, but again, can't get close enough. That's the bottom turret going down, though.
Yes, and I think actually Youngbuck moved down because they wanted to try and set up a dragon. Oh, Peke going in.
Peke almost taking Kautar down. Very, very low on health, and now Soaz is going to try and bully out Youngbuck. Remember that double buff. Didn't really make too much use of it. Teleported in as well.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have a chance to do anything with it, especially because, oh, Peke getting caught.
Well, amazing. If he lands the cocoon, not going to happen. And now Cyanide can turn this one around. Does manage to land one axe. The second one will be coming in a second. Sidesteps it, but Peke is keeping the damage down. The bomb rolls in. It's Peke that picks up another kill.
Horribly backfired for Amazing right here. He tried to pick up a kill alone. Cyanide was there. He didn't have a flash on Amazing from the fight bot lane. And once he got hit by the first axe, even though the second one missed, they still managed to pick up the kill.
Youngbuck in that top lane is going to get bullied out here by Soaz. The pillar going down, trying to keep Soaz away, and has to instead blocked himself out and forced himself down river.
But look at Youngbuck. He's only level 5 to the level 6 of Soaz. So Soaz right now has a huge lead in this lane.
And Soaz with that dominance just forces Youngbuck out, stuns him perfectly out of tower range as well, getting free damage onto Youngbuck. And Youngbuck, you know, he picked into this lane, and at the moment it seems to be backfiring horribly.
It's backfiring right now. But later in the game, he will be able to duel Soaz and actually, you know, get some revenge.
Well, Peke and Kautar back in this mid lane. We do see Athenes and Holy Grail being picked up by Peke. Looks like Kautar went for a bit of that attack speed. Probably going to go for the Gnash's Tooth to start with.
Notice how Fnatic's bot lane has just completely frozen the lane. Reckless is catching up in CS right now and also catching up in level. Instead, Copenhagen Wolves have to rotate mid and trying to push on this 6. That's not going to be easy.
Well, the Wolves are focusing on towards Cyanide right now. They have got a ward down there, and that's going to be the ultimate being used by Cyanide, making sure he doesn't get stunned out there.
Yeah, he just instantly pops it, not taking any chances. He doesn't want to take any poke from them.
Yeah, Ragnarok doing its job. Copenhagen Wolves, though, now have 4 members, and when you have a Kayle and a Caitlyn, you can do a lot of damage to a turret.
A lot, but when you have a 6 on the other side, you can do a lot of damage to the minions, and it's very hard to hit the turret.
The Wolves rotating around instead. They want to go for the blue buff invade here. However, will they get there in time? It will spawn in a second, I feel. The ward's going in place there. There it is, right on cue. Counter will take this one away.
Fnatic just instantly counters, goes to Copenhagen Wolves blue and say, you know what, we'll just trade.
But this could give the Dragon across to the Wolves because they're out of position now.
They're completely out of position. Smart call by Copenhagen Wolves. They instantly realize they're at their own blue buff and just take the Dragon.
Yes.
Beautiful play.
Good rotations there. It's normally Fnatic we praise for it. This time around, the Copenhagen Wolves certainly coming out on top in that rotation move. So, gold, all even once again. Youngbuck doing his job in this top lane, keeping him at bay, but he has still got that gap in CS because he went for that kill down the bottom lane early on.
It will still be very hard for Source though to actually take down the turret. There's a teleport on Youngbuck, so if he ports away now and Source is pushing the lane, he might be able to take it in exchange, but if Youngbuck can manage to pick up a kill or 2 for his team, it will be worth it for him.
But there is also this big gap building Peke, 70 to 47 now. Of course, Countard having to back away earlier. Kill was picked up by Peke on towards Amazing as well. Now with that blue buff, he's going to keep on shoving this wave.
He's sharing XP with Yellowstar right now though. Yellowstar is only level 5. They need him to be level 6 so he can start setting up the place with the Tibbers. But for now, they're happy just having Reckless farming.
Yeah, Reckless has been on his own down that bottom lane. Cyanide keeping vision. Youngbuck, oh, he's warded out the tri-bush. He's not going to be aware of this 2v1 gank coming in here. Youngbuck is going to be able to try and flash away from this one if he needs to. He's going to try and run away, has to flash instead, and will get away. Peke was closing the gap as well.
He was very tanky though. He's almost having his Sunfire completed. Didn't go for the Bedroom King as his early item.
Stun used on Unlimited, immediately turning it back around though and poking back on towards Reckless and Yellowstar. While this is all happening, of course, you can see Forgiven just beating down that turret, almost taking the inner turret out here.
If they keep this pressure up, because they know where Cyanide is, they might actually be able to get, not the tower, but at least a lot of damage on it.
Ace in the hole on Yellowstar, keeping him low once again. Yet more poke coming out from Limited, beating on towards that turret. This could be the second turret of the game, and an inner one is a very important turret to take. And now it's going to give up for Copenhagen Wolves to just rotate and take that mid turret. They have kept them off it just for now.
They can't engage due to Yellowstar being level 5. He used so much time in the mid lane where he shared XP and just gave solo XP to Reckless. Had he had the Tibbers, they could maybe have gone for the fight.
Yeah, they wisely back away. They knew that Cyanide was missing on the map. Youngbuck taking damage from Soaz. Soaz just happy to tank out that turret again. Continue to drill down on him on that turret. Youngbuck doing what he can to keep Soaz away.
It's actually been quite a good early game from Copenhagen Wolves' side. They've managed to pick up a lot of gold, especially from the Dragon, but also the teleport from Youngbuck was very nice. They got a return kill, and they're taking down the bot tower for it as well.
So what do we make of Soaz on Renekton? Because, you know, this is a player that's known for saying he absolutely hates tanky champions, yet since he's played, we've seen him playing Shen, we've seen him playing Renekton. He's played brilliantly on them.
That's Source as a player. He can play everything, and he can perform on everything. Putting him on this Renekton means you're going to have complete dominance in the top lane for the first 20-25 minutes, and then you can turn it into team fights if needed. He will have an issue split pushing though versus the Trundle later in the game.
Amazing's trying to sneak himself into the bush. Potential gank setup. No, minion wave comes in too quick, and Amazing just instead takes a bit of lane tax.
We're hitting a very slow point right now. It's basically just Peke instantly pushing this wave all the time.
Cyanide waiting in the top bush, but middle turret also being taken down for free while Coulthard is away. We do have Amazing closing the gap, but it's Youngbuck that may well be in trouble. Amazing will keep them away from that middle turret. And Youngbuck's like,
They might just want to force down this turret and ignore Youngbuck under it. He's still quite tanky. He doesn't have his ulti though.
Yeah, here comes Cyanide, pops out that ghost. He's going to go in. Instead, it's Youngbuck that's in trouble. He's going to get taken down. It's an easy kill for Fnatic.
That was great kill, and they knew he didn't have his ultimate, and his flash from before, so they pick up this kill and the turret. Nice play by Fnatic.
Turret goes down the bottom lane. Meanwhile, we do see the duo lane of Forgiven Unlimited pushing. He's got Amazing in support. Ace in the hole coming out on Yellowstar. Not too many hits left on that turret, and Amazing will help him. That's going to be the inner turret, surely going down in a second.
Yeah, this is great by Copenhagen Wolves. Once again, they know where Cyanide is, and they just instantly shove it up to the turret. They can now take the turret down here, and maybe rotate towards mid lane.
Yeah, that's the turret down. Amazing. 3 members coming in there. Peke already backing out the correct route. Counter will clear out that wave and keep that turret. However, there's been a lot of pressure coming out from Peke on towards that middle turret. They're trying to set up for a gank, but again, great vision from Fnatic here, knowing exactly what's happening.
They know exactly what's happening. Peke instantly, as they move away from the bot lane, he's just walking out, not taking any chances. We might see a fight coming in here, though, or will they just try and catch someone?
The thing is, they all pass the wards in that banana bush, so they know that they are around there. This is why we're seeing Reckless playing so cautiously. He's just keeping well away from that danger. So the Copenhagen Wolves really are just wasting time here. There's a minute 20 before the Dragon, so the blue buff will be up in a second.
The blue buff will be up, but Fnatic has to try and contest this one, so there might be a fight anyway, even though they know they're there.
There is the blue buff this time around. Cyanide is close by, so that means the smite will be available, but if he uses it on this, it won't be up for the Dragon.
And we have Source moving down already. There's TP and Youngbuck. He can join the fight as well. It seems Copenhagen Wolves just backs out.
Yeah, they realize the danger of the situation, and
they're in a
while
terrible
this is all
position.
happening, Fnatic, they're going to go in, they're going to take the middle turret.
And this is what Fnatic always does. If you are in the wrong position at the wrong time, they will punish you. Immediately moving for the turret, and now also the blue buff of Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, the blue buff, they knew that it was up because they had that back and forth last time, and they also knew that the Dragon will be up in around about 30 seconds time, so they need to start making a move for that one. It will be the blue buff taken away. Reckless being given that one by Soaz.
Peke just used his ultimate to clear the huge wave in top lane. He won't have it if there should be a team fight. A little bit of disadvantage for him, but all in all, if they can manage to, stall this until his ultimate is up, it won't really make a big deal.
Yeah, because it is a very short cooldown. Soaz has returned to that top lane now, so Youngbuck, of course. That's the thing with the fact that he's got Renekton. He can interrupt that teleport if he needs to. If Youngbuck, they try and force that 4v4. The Wolves are moving for Dragon.
And so is Soaz. He's running down now. Dragon is up. Wolves might be able to rush it down with the teleport as well. Youngbuck stays top and pushes.
Yeah, he's going to stay in the top. In fact, it's Fnatic. They're pushing for the inner turret, so they may well lose the Dragon, but they're going to get a good chunk of damage on this turret, if not take it completely.
But will Copenhagen Wolves try and engage from behind? We see TP coming in on the turret, though, for Youngbuck.
Youngbuck going to get in there, but what's he going to do? The rest of the Wolves are coming around the back there. A good pillar will land on towards Fnatic. Now they're going to close the gap. They land a lot of slows. It's a big pincer move, which is a dangerous play, but Soaz is taking all the damage.
Wow.
Flash Timbers comes out from Yellowstar, though, turning it straight back around, and now it's going to be Soaz running for his life. Youngbuck's catching in the back there. Round the side is Coutard, but they are all split targeted, and now Coutard's in trouble. The stun's going to be available. There it is. Peke throws out the bomb, and that's another kill picked up by Fnatic. Now Peke, he flashes through. He sends his blood onto Forgiven. The bomb comes in, and now that's a double. Now they're on towards the inner turret.
There were no front line for Copenhagen Wolves because Youngbuck came in from behind or from his own turret, while the rest of the team collapsed on him from, the other side around. So it was too easy for Fnatic to simply pick up the first target, and Counter couldn't even ultimate him in time.
So many advantages from that one fight being picked up by Fnatic. The red buff being taken away, the bottom turret being taken away, the inner turret taken away. Copenhagen Wolves thought they pulled a fast one going for that Dragon, but Fnatic read them like a book.
And once again, the team fighting and the rotation of Fnatic is just top class. They know exactly what they're doing, and as soon as they saw Copenhagen Wolves coming in for the fight, they were ready, and Yellowstar went in with the tippers and started everything.
So that turns the goal advantage hugely in Fnatic's favor. A 3,000 advantage picked up by them, and 6-1 in kills with all of the lanes being won out now. I hesitantly say all the lanes because Forgiven versus Reckless has been a close one, and in fairness it was Forgiven that shoved down and took those 2 turrets in the bottom lane.
He did win the lane, yes, but right now team fight, when you have the ultimate from Sivir on Fnatic, they can just choose whenever they want to fight. If they get in a bad situation, they can just run away with it. If they catch someone out, they can go in with it.
And lack of communication maybe in that last team fight. A pincer move is one of the hardest things I would say in League of Legends to pull off. If you can focus that target on the exact right thing. Good trade there coming out from Youngbuck up against Soaz.
Yeah, he has his Cutlass. Once he finishes the Blade of the Ruined King, he will actually be able to really do a lot of damage onto Soaz. He's doing the same thing though, and also has a Cutlass. So
yeah,
he
he
wants to
actually
battle
used
out.
it, though.
Yeah.
It didn't work out too well in his favor. But you can't count out Peke because, again, 3-0-1, he's got going on Ziggs. Ziggs is a champion that was huge at the start of the 2014 season. Did receive a few nerfs, which is why we saw him falling off. But once again, he's back in action and doing great.
And that's the thing right now for Fnatic. They don't have to do anything about Youngblood in top lane. They can just force something elsewhere. There's not really any hard engage on Copenhagen Wolves side. And with the 6 and the Sivir to just constantly clear down the waves, Fnatic can just pressure mid and bot and force Youngblood to teleport down and start a fight.
When we saw the kill participation of Amazing was 85% for the Copenhagen Wolves, and again, you see him sneaking in towards this top bush. He wants to try and get something going. Youngblood desperately thinks he can win this fight against Soaz. A little bit of help from Amazing would certainly win it for him, but look at the minimap. You see Cyanide, you see Yellowstar, all moving into position to help out.
Amazing was there for the counter gank and more the safety. Right now, if Source keeps moving forward, he will still be able to escape, and this is actually going to be bad. Oh, he's betting it out.
This is bad news for the Copenhagen Wolves, and so has baited that very nicely. Youngblood's going to get caught out. Dominus being used, and Fnatic actually playing this one safe because they realize Unlimited and Kautar are now closing in. It's going to be a 4-on-3 situation in the top lane. Stun being used by Yellowstar. Slow catching on towards Soaz. That will manage to leash him down, but again, they get away.
They get away, and meanwhile, they are pushing down the bottom and the mid lane. Copenhagen Wolves has to respond, get this turret, and then recall. But look at the bomb come in from Peke. He's clearing the entire wave.
Yeah, no. Well, it's like, do you want to tank it? Because that's all you're going to be able to do. Instead, Peke, he's pushing onto the inhibitor turret on his own. The bottom inner turret, that's being pushed as well.
Oh,
Yellowstar, he's just trying to buy time for his team here. That's all he's doing. It's going to work out for him. He will go down, but he doesn't care about that because the bottom inner turret is going down to Reckless.
Look at Cyanide though, he's actually being caught out. Can he go? No, he gets, no, Youngblood's going for him.
He's just kiting them. That's all he's doing. He's just keeping Youngblood chasing on towards him. Peke is now moving towards that position. Soaz is keeping Kautar busy because they're just buying time for Reckless. Reckless down that bottom lane. Amazing is going to have a tough time stopping this AD carry pushing on the turret.
They're just playing Copenhagen Wolves around on the map at the moment. Every time they want to try and recall, they go in and try and stop them, and it works so far.
Well, you do see the blue buff.
Oh, that was a lot of damage.
Kautar, that one single bomb doing a lot of damage, like you're saying. That's another giant wave. Look at it just beating on towards the bottom inner turret. Finally, the same Forgiven that's getting down there. But like you say, they're just toying with them. They're keeping perfect pressure up across the map.
Yeah, they managed to trade the kill on Yellowstar for a turret. I think most teams will take that trade any day in favor of Fnatic.
For an inner turret as well, more importantly, and a bit of damage on both inhibitor turrets because you saw Peke put some damage on towards the middle one. So good advantages being picked up by Fnatic here. They are 6-0 so far in the LCS. Will they close out the day 7-0? It would be a ginormous start for them in the spring split.
Definitely. I mean, but they are playing so well all across the map. The only weakness this game, bot lane did lose. But then again, it was also due to the fact that the teleport came in and also Amazing came in afterwards to push the turret. So there wasn't really much they could do. And whenever someone is not having the best day, someone else just steps up. This game, Peke has been huge.
Okay, has been huge. He's at 202 CS, leading the charge, even ahead of Reckless. And look at the gold advantage he has. It's a 2,000 almost guild lead over Kautar. Same with the AD carries. He's very close, but the top lane, Soaz, he's got himself almost 1,000 gold lead as well. Junglers are close, supports are close as well. But it is going to be the Dragon being started off by Fnatic.
Peke is just in the mid lane right now clearing because Copenhagen Wolves want to give up the Dragon and just try and take something else.
Limited's going to try and get a sneaky steal, not quite going to be close enough. Top turret goes down, hits the Copenhagen Wolves that get that. They're going to pop that talisman. Can they catch on? Yes, they can. Flash Tibbers on Amazing. Repels away, but he's got nowhere to go. He's going to drop straight into Explosive Pack. Gets the invulnerability on him. Is it going to be enough? No, gets stunned up once again and taken down. It's Peke that gets his 4th kill of the game.
And there we see why the Sivir ultimate is so strong. Instantly they realize he's being caught out, Amazing right here, and you just go for him and get the kill.
Forgiven desperately, 90 caliber netting away from Peke. It sends blood there, and they're going to keep on pushing. The Fnatic have a wave clear to come in. It's going to be a 4-on-5 pushing on the inhib turret.
And they have blue buff on Peke. He can just spam out the bombs, keep poking.
Well, Tibbers being used to try and clear that wave. Reckless getting a couple of hits on there. Youngblood comes around the side, not really the ideal situation, and Fnatic choosing to back away, keeping that big advantage they have. It's a 4,000 gold lead now.
And if Reckless can take this red buff again away from Copenhagen Wolves and then the huge wave in bot lane, he's gonna be very happy.
Yeah, he's actually, I tell a lot, he's actually behind in CS. That has surprised me. Forgiven, doing a great job at keeping that up, but the Copenhagen Wolves trying to react to this one. They're shoving for the middle turret.
And I like that Copenhagen Wolves keeps playing aggressive. They want to punish Fnatic every time they actually can. This time, bomb was used on the champions, not the minions.
But it does the job, exactly the same as it did in the top lane. And that Mega Inferno bomb, it's pretty annoying now.
That's a lot of gold in this
Copenhagen
lane.
Wolves. That is a lot of gold for the Reckless. He's going to be clearing that one out. Middle turret, they're going to keep pushing. But again, the mine's going down. Cyanide blocking off, uses the Ragnarok, pulling in, running perfect defensive use there. And Fnatic might try and turn this one back around. Peke chases on, they do get the turret, gets the stun on towards Kautard. We do see Soaz, he's tracking down, cutting through the jungle. He's going to go towards the Copenhagen Wolves, but it's a repel coming out from Amazing. They're going to try and back away from this one.
They managed to disengage, picked up the turret, didn't get a kill on that dive, but meanwhile, Source is just going crazy on the turret into top lane.
Yeah, and he's got the rest of Fnatic rotating around towards him. It's Youngbuck that does get there first, but the rest of Fnatic are going to be with him. Youngbuck has to be careful he doesn't get caught out. Stun available on Yellowstar. Is he going to come back on towards him? He has got that stun. Can he go for it instead? It's going to be the wall.
Nice
Youngbuck coming in. A good pillar coming out, but he has the turret gone down. They do manage to catch Peke out, and Copenhagen Wolves can chase on this one, but On the Hunt was used, and Reckless should be able to escape.
Amazing pillar from Youngbuck. Can he do it again? Does he have mana for it actually?
I'm not too sure he's got the mana. The cocoon is going to be available. It's going to be a max range cocoon. Spell shield is available for Reckless, and he's waiting, trying to wait if he can get it. Does use the spell shield, flashes out the cocoon, and now they're going to try and turn it back on its head. Yellowstar around the side, has got stun available. Tibbers is up as well. Is he going to use it? He's going to have to try and be a big play. Cyanide getting caught out, trying to run away from it. There's the Tibbers coming out from Yellowstar. Forgiven does take down Cyanide. Yellowstar in trouble now. Copenhagen Wolves can keep on chasing, but they need to get some objectives off the back of this. They do get the kill. What will they take down with it?
They can take the top lane turret unless Peke can wave it. Actually, he's respawning now. With Source trying to stop this, it would be very risky.
He's not going to go for it. Mega Inferno Bomb is available. Baron, that's a risky play with the Mega Inferno Bomb available. Of course, Cyanide down, which means they don't have Smite. But that Mega Inferno Bomb, it may as well be a huge Smite.
There's no ultimate on Kautard right now. If Peke managed to pull it, there we go.
Mega Inferno Bomb goes in. Kautard taken low. Doesn't quite tank out the Baron, though. And they do trade it around. Peke does get Kautard down. The Barons do work. In comes Reckless as well. Copenhagen Wolves have to run like the wind here. Pillow being used. Amazing taken low. Forgiven low. Youngbuck's going to burn down. Ignite gets him down. Peke does the work. Another bomb lands. Unlimited takes that one in the back. Peke could clean up here. They're splitting. They're scattering. Trying to get away from this one. Forgiven tries to turn it around, but it's not going to work. Kites out. Peke has to flash away. Another bomb comes in. Now Unlimited's the target. He goes into the bush, invisible for a moment, but it's another kill. A double for Reckless.
And Copenhagen Wolves did everything right before they decided to go for the Baron. They could just have backed off, been happy with the kills they picked up. Instead, very risky Baron. Peke runs there straight from base and managed to pick up the first kill on Kautard and then clean up the rest.
An ace, and that means the Baron for Fnatic. Great plays, great counters. They seem to be knowing every single situation. And you know, you saw a number of ultimates and a lot of kiting going on from Fnatic, but it's simply buying time. And the moment Peke is back available, you know, the shot calls that come out from that team are on point so often. And again, they just made the perfect call.
And when you're facing this #1 team, you often get the mentality that you have to do something special to win it. Copenhagen Wolves right here, but they could get the Baron and then maybe keep snowballing the game, but it was too risky, way too risky.
And now they're rushing down. They're trying to go towards the dragon, but it's not up for a minute. Maybe they mistimed it. They're going to go for the blue instead. Like you said, risky players should just stick to the basics, because actually they were doing okay in the lanes. But they're trying to make these plays. So as out of position here, may catch out Peke. If he comes around this corner, the ward is there. They're going to get him. He's going to have that Baron buff, but he tries to jump away. Not going to be enough. Kautard flashes through and picks up the kill.
And now the risky play paid off. Nice setup right here. The ward comes over just as Peke walks in. Boom, taken down.
So as clearing out the ward down the bottom, now he's running because he's going to get singled out. The rest of Fnatic, what will they do? Will they try and create pressure? They know Soaz is dead, but it looks like they might try and push the mid.
They can try and push the mid, but they're going to need a lot of time. Soaz really has to kite this one out, or they won't do much to the turret in mid.
Oh, and he may well get away. It's not going to be enough, though. He should get caught out in a second, but look at the time he's buying. It's unlimited and amazing that gone back, but Soaz is still yet to die. And now he's actually may well get the health. One slice, he's got another dice in a moment. He uses it. He's going to get caught. Oh, the cocoon from Amazing. That should be enough. No,
Wow.
Flashes, puts the dominance down. Is it going to be enough? He's still going on. While the rest of his team do try and push that middle lane. Copenhagen Wolves, though, finally get him down and defend the mid.
And Soaz did manage to buy a lot of time, so they could take the mid turret. We had Unlimited and Amazing recalling actually to go back and defend, but it was too late.
Now all 5 members of the Copenhagen Wolves push on towards the Dragon. Reckless is thinking about starting off. There is Yellowstar standing by. Tibbers is up, but he's not going to go for it, it seems. Peke's going to back away. Youngbuck tanking out the turret. Ragnarok having to be used by Sino to back away from this one. And the Wolves start the Dragon Mega Inferno Bomb too early. They do take it down, but is there enough damage done? They may feel there is.
They have the
because
Baron
Youngbuck's taken low. They do have the Baron buff, like you say. Fnatic could chase. They do manage to lock up Amazing. One more hit should be enough to slow him down. Flash Tibbers comes in. The vulnerability comes out from Kautar. Is it going to be enough to keep them at bay? Unlimited's going to get taken down. That's going to be 2. Amazing dropped in the process. On the hunt being used by Reckless. They chasing down Kautar. The boomerang blade not quite going to catch on towards him. But remember, the middle inhibitor is exposed and there's a giant wave on the top lane.
And Soaz is coming down right now. Oh, Yellowstar getting caught.
Yellowstar focused, he's going to get caught out, but Youngbuck may go! He gets the pillar down, Youngbuck gets him, but it's at the cost of his life. A support for a top laner while your inhibitor is exposed is not good enough.
This can be an enemy for them. And look at the mid, the wave in the top lane. Kautar wisely enough goes up, clears it away so they can't rotate there.
Yeah, realizing the danger, does manage to keep it away, but Fnatic once again making plays. Remember, this is all with the Baron buff on those, so the Copenhagen Wolves, they kept them at bay quite well, because if they just sat back and farm, maybe they'd lost more.
They would, yeah, we don't really know, but one thing we need to touch on, once we see this replay, notice how they're going in right here. Keep an eye on Peke. As soon as the ultimate from Kautar is gone from Amazing, right away, beautiful ultimate, instant reactions on the Tippers. But notice right here, he throws the bombs in the direction Amazing is, ultimate is gone, and he picks up the kill. And they have so much follow-up damage and chase potential right now, they can just keep going for it.
Yeah, Reckless nearly, if it had caught Kautar out there, I feel, that could have been game.
That could
Because
maybe
he
have
was the
finished,
one
yeah.
that cleared out that wave at the top lane. So, Kautar lying in wait, but unfortunately, he's on top of a ward. Fnatic might try and set a trap themselves.
Right now though, when you have a 6 that fit, it's going to be very hard for Copenhagen Wolves to actually team fight unless they can manage to catch someone out.
Soaz comes through, snarls at Kautar. The rest of the Wolves were standing by, apart from Youngbuck, who's just shoved out that bottom wave. So they're keeping the lanes as clear as they can, trying to buy themselves time against Fnatic, but they know they're going to be in full defensive duties.
And Peke just used his ultimate in the bot lane to get it pushing in Fnatic's favor. It's gonna now shove down, and they want to force Youngbuck to either teleport into this to defend, or just, be there from the start and let the wave push.
Oh, the Wolves, they're trying to play something fancy again here, but they may get caught out themselves. They've got to run in towards the middle inhibitor turret. That's going to leave Kautar on single defensive duties. Forgiven wisely uses that 90 caliber net to get around. They do get themselves back in towards defensive position on this inhib.
Some very good burst though from Kautar onto Reckless. His Q took about 25% of the HP. If they can manage to catch Reckless out of position, they'll be able to kill him very fast.
Soaz steps off towards the middle, helps those super minions pushing through. Remember, the bottom lane is still fairly safe at the moment, so it's the middle they're trying to create the pressure on. We see Forgiven is going to go down, deal with those super minions already. They should be wiped out, but Fnatic, they're going to keep chipping away, getting damage on towards that top turret.
Look how much damage Peke is doing on one auto attack to this turret. The longer they can do this, the more poke they can get in. At some point, they will force Copenhagen Wolves to engage.
Well, those bombs certainly doing work. Soaz once again goes in towards that inhibitor turret, keeps the pressure down, keeps Forgiven busy, keeps those minions rolling, while the other 4 members of the Fnatic keep on pushing in there. This time Youngbuck and Amazing trying to keep them away, trying to keep them off there. That is going to be a lot more damage. Surely they could get on to it. Ace in the hole, lands nicely. Mega Inferno Bomb thrown out straight away by Peke, fearful there of the damage that was coming in.
Great defense right now by Copenhagen Wolves. And also the bot lane wave, it pushed so slow that it wasn't actually an issue for them. Now instead they can pick up a huge wave of gold.
Yeah, they're going to back away. There's a minion before Baron, and Fnatic going to be all aware of the time as they have to get back, get themselves prepared for the next big fight at Baron.
Baron is definitely going to be, I wouldn't say the decider, but the next fight we're going to see. If Fnatic manage to win it, they can just pile down on the base of Copenhagen Wolves and take either all the inhibs or try and finish the game.
Okay, let's take ourselves a brief moment, a brief respite to actually look at the item builds, because you can see Peke has gigantic damage. We know though, if KO can keep holding on, keep on building up, then maybe that KO could become a beast.
Yeah, but right now he's far away from the items he needs.
Yeah.
He wants to have at least a death cap and the void staff as well to do the maximum amount of burst, especially because he has also to deal with Soaz, who's going to be in his face all the time. Peke though, if he picks up the Lich Bane, the amount of damage he can do to the turrets is going to be insane.
Is that not an early Guardian Angels for Amazing?
Fairly early, but then again he has been the focus in pretty much every fight and he's 0-5. They just catch him out every time and finish him.
We'll see whether he manages to use it. It's the problem when you're this far behind. I start to worry about defensive items like that, because often it's a case of, well, you've got a defensive item, you die, but you're just going to respawn in amongst the entire Fnatic team, which could be a serious problem. Ward placement's coming out for the Baron. The Baron is now up. Dragon's going to be just 50 seconds away, so the next fight could be a big one for either team.
Again, Copenhagen Wolves has the issue that their base is so open. And they also know how much damage Fnatic can do on the turrets. They can risk dying everyone, so that's going to make them very scared of going into the 5v5 fight.
Well, we do see the Wolves, they've shoved out a good wave in that middle lane, and they managed to clear it out, so they don't need to deal with super minions just yet. And actually they're putting a bit of pressure to the point that Reckless and Peke have had to rotate around, so as doing a defensive job to keep that inner turret safe.
They're pretty much doing what they need to do right now. The vision control is in Fnatic's favor. However, as long as they can keep shoving up the mid lane and force Fnatic to stay in the mid lane, Fnatic won't really be able to do anything on the Baron.
They're caught out of position. The Wolves once again, that's the Mega Inferno bomb coming out, and Copenhagen Wolves desperately running away from this one. Forgiven tries to get away, but they're just going to chase him down. That's the AD carry down, and now we're going to see Youngbuck running for his life, but Peke closes him out. That is surely going to give Fnatic a giant advantage pushing into the base.
They can take 2 inhibs of this at least and then go for the Baron, or they can actually try and finish it. They still have a lot of damage to bring out if they want to go for it.
Well, it's 40-second death timers here for the Copenhagen Wolves, and Kautar desperately trying to rush on towards Peke. Should take him down. Yes, he does. Has to use that ultimate, though. Keeps him at bay. Is that going to be enough to buy them time? It seems it will be, and Fnatic back off.
Great play actually from Kautar, pretty much saving the game for Copenhagen Wolves right here. Will Fnatic still go for the Baron? It will be a bit more risky, especially because the 3 members are healthy and can actually move up instantly from Copenhagen Wolves.
Well, it seems that Copenhagen Wolves are reading this one as well. They're going to rush up there, but without the AD carry, without that top laner, it's going to be a 4v3, and a dangerous 4v3 at that, because
Teleport on Youngbuck.
Stun not available by Yellowstar. Teleport is going to be enough to keep them at bay. Remember, last time this happened, the Copenhagen Wolves were caught out at Baron. This time it could have been role reverse, and wisely Fnatic step away instantly. Wolves, no, this is a wrong choice. They should not be going
Forgiven
for this.
can be there way before Peke, who's still dead for 10 seconds, so they can get the fight 5v4, and Copenhagen Wolves might be able to win it.
On the hunt is available, though. Reckless could turn and fight this one. So as in there, Youngbuck's going to be the one that tries to put it in their face. Kautar's going to be important. He has to get the damage on the right target. It's Cyanide they were focusing on. Yellowstar comes in. He's going to get taken very low. Ace in the hole comes in. Not enough to step him off. So as is going to get targeted at the side there. He's split off from the rest of his team. Pillar comes in from Youngbuck. Slice and dice dope from Soaz is going to be enough to get away. Peke is back up. Mega Inferno bomb comes in. Lands onto Kautar. Youngbuck now all on his own, and Kautar has to use that invulnerability once again. And Youngbuck to chase. Peke cuts off. He's going to throw the mines out. Catches onto Unlimited. Catches onto Youngbuck. They're catching them all out, but he turns it back around. Peke goes too close and gets burst down by Forgiven. And now everyone from Wolves backs away. But Fnatic should chase. 90 caliber net. Great use there. Catching on towards Reckless. And back and forth this keeps on going. Neither team can Baron.
Such a long fight. Peke came in, jumped over the wall to Nesha, picked up a kill, but he got too close and managed to die for it. Had he stayed alive, they could have taken this Nesha a bit more safe.
Very risky Baron though, because 3 members of the Wolves are still sticking around here. Ace in the hole not available, but they're going to go for it. They do catch the cocoon on towards Soaz. Have they got enough damage from the AD carry? Yes, they have. They take down Soaz. While this is happening, it's going to be one Nexus turret going down. Cyanide getting focused on Ragnarok coming out here, but Forgiven's going to chase on towards him. He's got to be careful. Reckless is coming around the side. Forgiven goes into the bush, and a low hit point damage does manage to take Cyanide down, but Reckless will chase on Forgiven. He's going to keep the pressure on. While this is all happening, Kautar's desperately defending. They lost one Nexus turret already. Can they lose more? It seems they will hold on for now. and Baron still untouched, smiling at both teams.
And these team fights have exploded. Fnatic once again went in for the Baron. Copenhagen Wolves responds, comes back and picks up two kills for them actually. Cyanide, he tried to pick up the kill on Unlimited, he wasn't able to do it and got punished for it. Right now though, situation is the same. Fnatic is in the lead, the base for Copenhagen Wolves is open for pretty much everything and they already lost one turret.
Wow. What a match so far. 37 minutes gone. Definitely a faster paced game than the SK Super Hot group. And Peke, he's been involved in everything so far.
Everything. I mean, they were just waiting for him to come out here. They were kiting them before. Source did actually an amazing thing. He got ulted by Youngbuck. Normally, you would see the tank going in. He just kept kiting. He didn't want to go in with the ultimate on. He knew he would be too squishy. And he bought a lot of time for Fnatic to actually come back with Peke and then, you know, pick up a kill. Sadly though for Peke, he did get caught as well.
In that last back, Forgiven managed to get himself the Infinity Edge complete, and Kautard got the Rabadon's Death Cap complete. Youngbuck face checking in towards Soaz. Soaz not too worried about that one, both back and forth, just beating each other, those two top laners, not really doing any damage to one another. Yellowstar, Ace in the hole, lands on towards Yellowstar there, and that's on the hunt, already being used by Reckless. Can they turn and chase on towards this one? They will come around the side, it's a split fight for the Wolves, but Fnatic don't seem to be landing anything, and that's a couple of ultimates burnt.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff burned for Fnatic right here. Talisman was used as well. Ulti from Soaz is going to run out in just a few seconds. If Copenhagen Wolves fights now, they will have the advantage.
This is a dangerous, dangerous time for Fnatic because all inhibitors are up for the Wolves and all lanes are actually pushing in their favor. So if they were to lose a fight, they could potentially lose the game, which is why Fnatic suddenly realizing they have to be very cautious in this next fight.
They might just want to try and recall and get away, or will they actually try and go for this inhib?
Yeah, they're going to try and push on towards that bottom lane. Copenhagen Wolves are a little split off here. That's going to be enough for Fnatic to hold out here. And again, Soaz goes back to Baron. But they are close by still, the Wolves.
The Wolves knows everything that's going on right now. They are moving in for this. Forgiven is behind, but will he get there in time?
They're giving a long way from this one. No, that's going to be Youngbuck taken so low, but it's not going to be enough. But that means it will be a 4-on-5 fight. Copenhagen Wolves come back in again. Peke taken low. Yellowstar getting pounced on. Amazing will go for this one. It's Peke's the target they want, but he gets split off. Guardian Angel has been used. Is it going to be enough? Soaz is stuck in the Baron pit. Now we can see the Wolves. They're turning on to Baron. They get the Baron. Now they have to run away from this one. The Copenhagen Wolves can turn this fight around though, because Kautard's ultimates will be back available in a few moments. They're going to keep on chasing. Peke's running. He wants the backdoor once again, but it's not going to be enough. There's minions in there. Youngbuck gets caught out. Youngbuck gets exploded by Peke, but Kautard's going to find him. And now the Copenhagen Wolves, they flash in there. They get the stun, they get the kill, but they're still not getting objectives.
And they have to defend this inhib. Can he pick up the kill on Cyanide though?
Cyanide will go down, 90 caliber net. Hey, Piltover missed! It missed the Piltover Peacemaker. And that means Fnatic going to keep a 4-man advantage. And they hold on again. And yet, looking at the map, there's nothing they can get from it.
We did get the Baron though to Copenhagen Wolves. We did also see how a no magic resist Trundle handles a very FedEx Peke not very well. He got bursted down so hard. However though, there is a Baron buff on Copenhagen Wolves now. This is the time where they can push up and they can actually start, you know, deciding the fights.
Forgiven will start off, built over Peacemaker. Yellowstar was there, so as it's just off the side, it's got to be very cautious. We talked about this Kayle, how strong a Kayle can get late game. This is actually a tricky dragon for Fnatic, I feel. Unless the Wolves decide to come down, they could be in trouble. They will take it very quickly. Wolves are not really responding quick enough. They're going to get it and run.
Yeah, pretty much just picking up this fast. Sloppy play by Copenhagen Wolves. They should have gone for this one. It's a lot of gold here in the late game, and it was actually what they needed to, you know, do more of the comeback right here. They're still 4,000 gold behind. It will be hard for them. However, as you touched about, the Kayle is really starting to hurt.
And we've already seen him dropping Peke very quickly. Reckless was caught out, Cyanide was caught out, so a lot of these players getting caught out by the burst that Kautard has, and Youngbuck, with that teleport available, can begin a split push now.
And Peke is going all in on the damage. He's not going for Sonyas, no Banshees, no Guardian Angel. He's gonna go full in on the damage and just try and do as much as he can early in the fight to burst down a target.
Let's not forget Caitlyn versus Sivir. This is still really both these champions, you know, the CS is pretty close, but actually the builds are scary right now because they're already closing on 6-item builds. Both of these players, the gold, you only see it's a 5,000 gold difference, and it's the Wolves now pushing on towards this inner turret.
Fnatic will, though, be able to burst down Youngbuck really fast. We have seen the damage Peke does. On the other side, if they can kill him, on the other side, Renekton going in, he has a lot of armor. It's going to be hard for Forgiven to kill him fast, but with the help of Kautot, they might be able to more or less burst him down.
With this Baron buff on, they have to start trying to take some objectives. It only going to have a short time available, and you can already see, with that wave clear, like you mentioned earlier on, with the Sivir, with the Ziggs, it's very hard to shove those towers because they have such tremendous wave clear.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves want Fnatic to push out of the base and then try and fight in the open. Right now, they won't really be able to push anything, and at the same time, if there should actually be a fight, I'm really feeling this lack of magic resist on Trundle is going to be a huge issue for them. And unless they can manage to burst down a target themselves, he might just die and Fnatic can use On the Hunt and roll over them.
Well, Baron is about to wear off on the Copenhagen Wolves, which makes them all equal once again. 9-4 the turret advantage that Fnatic have, and yet no objectives being picked up by Copenhagen Wolves during that period of advantage they had. They have managed to keep the waves pushed out of their base. Of course, they do still have those 2 exposed inhibitors, but with everything up, it is actually pretty even in team fights, as we've seen so far.
Notice Pekka right here. He might want to try and show out the lane, yes, with his ultimate, and then rotate down to the mid lane and try and force a fight at the inhibitor for Copenhagen Wolves.
The Wolves, they have to be careful because they've been caught out of position a few too many times, which is what's created these opportunities. Fnatic may well try and brute force this mid lane. Forgiven actually putting a lot of damage on the back of Soaz there.
A lot of damage coming out of him right here. That is a danger signal for Soaz. He's going to be very careful when going in.
Yeah, not tanky enough, it seems, despite the Randian's Omen Sunfire cape he has. Forgiven has so much damage stacked on that AD carry. Once you start hitting the 43-minute mark, it is all about the AD carries. And they have huge damage. Youngbuck doing great wave clear, continuing to shove the lanes, but again, might be out of position here as Fnatic keeps shoving the mid.
He's far out, he has to start moving back, otherwise Fnatic can actually just force it in. He has to teleport, but you don't really want to teleport this short of a distance, and especially not in the late game fights, when there's so much damage coming out.
Instead, he's moving through the jungle and may try and head them off here. Has used his little speed buff that he gets. And is he going to cut across the side there? Reckless, Reckless getting very close to getting caught out there. A good pillar would have been able to separate him from his team. Maybe have to force out that On the Hunt ultimate that he has. Instead, this Fnatic continuing to siege.
There's no blue buff on Pekka right now, so he has to worry a little bit about his mana. If he can pick up a blue buff, Eddie can do this again. He will just keep poking and poking.
And as you see, the top and bottom wave have to be cleared out. Peke goes down, throws out that Mega Inferno Bomb, continues that wave clear. But it is the Wolves now with that advantage. They're seeing it, they're sensing it, they're going to rush for the mid in here.
And Fnatic is out of position. 2 people are moving towards the bot lane, and they're just pushing up the mid for Copenhagen Wolves.
That's the inner turret surely gone here. I don't think they're going to be able to stop this one. There it goes. Because remember, the damage that you can get on those turrets with a Kayle and a Caitlyn, this fed, this late on, they will take turrets down very quickly.
It's just a matter of a few seconds and this turret is gone. Smart play by Copenhagen Wolves though. They force Fnatic to move around the map and then they just pick up a free turret.
So they didn't really deal with the bottom and top lanes because they are still pushed, and the Wolves are keeping sufficient pressure on Fnatic that they're having to stick around and nobody can go off and deal with them. We are seeing Reckless heading off towards that top lane, so he's going to be dealing with that. The Wolves are backing off, and again, we're in this situation. A minute to Baron, a minute to Dragon. We're going to have that fight all again.
And we're gonna see both teams trying to fight for the Vision War at first. If they can manage to get control of the area with the wards and then catch out someone, it's a huge win here late game. We see Yellow Star recalling, getting some more wards, and then he's gonna go back and they're gonna try and force this Nashor.
Oh, the Andrews has been completed by Amazing. We did see a Banshee's Veil just picked up by Reckless as well. So everybody starting to accumulate and build towards their end game build. Randy Omen almost picked up by Amazing, so he's going to be a problem now. That at least in this Cyanide, of course, well, he's a giant tank and he's going to be running headlong for Forgiven or Kautai, trying to force out that ultimate. But again, Fnatic pushing in here, and Youngbuck, he's shoving the bomb lane.
He's just shoving it out. He want to keep pressure on Fnatic, and he want to get Pekka to use his ultimate to clear the wave, so he won't have it for a potential fight.
Well, he's pushed that wave, that's going to be dealt with. He's going to stick there because they've got vision. They do get Ace in a hole on Peke. Peke forced low here, and they're going to keep on pushing onto Ulcinson. Copenhagen Wolves doing pressure. That's On the Hunt's been used here, but they're split across here. Fnatic 3v1 at the moment. Will they manage to catch it? A Mega Inferno Bomb catches on Amazing. Guardian Angel is up. Tether's going to land on Cyanide. They're going to keep the pressure down. Youngbuck is going to teleport in. Is it going to be enough? Pillar does manage to keep them at bay, and the Copenhagen Wolves keep on chasing.
Nobody is dead yet. The flash from Forgiven saved his life. Flash tables from Yellowstar almost hit him, but amazing reactions, and he survived.
Copenhagen Wolves catching Fnatic out of position and maybe going to try what they did to Fnatic themselves. Of course, pushing in towards that inhibitor.
They can take the turret.
They could try and get it. Instead, they're going to go towards that bottom wave. Will they be there quick enough, though? Because the rest of Fnatic catching in there. They will take this turret down very quickly.
But Fnatic, will they try and disengage? There's home guards on source. He doesn't have any ultimate, though.
Amazing running interference, keeping them at bay. Peke throwing out the mine, separating the team, but the Wolves don't care. They've taken another turret down. They are doing a great job in late game.
It is once again great rotation by Copenhagen Wolves. They take everything they can get, and they're not playing the same risky game they did earlier. They're playing a lot more safe now.
So, Fnatic know that the Baron is up and desperately trying to get across there. They think they've managed to catch Copenhagen Wolves out of position. They started on the Dragon, but they're going straight away back up towards that Baron. They want to get some vision in there. Fnatic have started it. This is dangerous.
This is very dangerous, and actually pretty much cancel it instantly. They just want to force a reaction from Copenhagen Wolves, and it's coming.
The reaction is there. Youngbuck goes in, pillar thrown down. Peke taking the front-loaded damage. He's getting caught out of position a few too many times here.
Yeah, and he's built pure damage. If they manage to catch him, he will die instantly at this point. They tried to do it here in the mid-fight. That's also why Peke was gone, and Youngbuck could just tank it up with no Peke hitting on him.
Yeah, one bad fight right now for Fnatic. The death timers will be around about the 45-second mark. They could lose a big chunk of their base, if not all of it.
We do see Copenhagen Wolves are going to recall, come back with new items. Youngbuck building more and more MR. Once he picks up the Spirit Visage, he's going to be very hard to kill for Fnatic.
Yeah, remember, they don't have teleport this time around, which is how they were creating that pressure. So there's a big timer on that one, so the Wolves will slow down the pressure they were keeping. They are keeping all the waves, though, shoved in. The top lane in a turret may be the next focus.
Definitely. I think, though, right now, Baron is the key moment.
Yes.
Fnatic wants to have Copenhagen Wolves moving into this area. We see Yellow's almost catching out Kautal actually.
Unlimited again, speeds himself up. Fnatic do get themselves into
Started
that
again.
death push. Again, damage on towards Peke. The poke comes out. They've started the Baron, but all of the Wolves are close. Soaz is actually separated from his team here.
And once again, they just want to force a reaction. The bot lane is pushing in favor of Fnatic, but it's going to take a long time before it actually gets to the base of Copenhagen Wolves. Instead, Copenhagen Wolves now making the move.
Yeah, they have ward coverage here. Youngbuck going to go in towards it. He wants to go towards Soaz. Instead, just runs away. Tries to keep them at bay here. Will they try and make any maneuvering? They do. They go in. They think they've singled out Cyanide. Has to use Ragnar to back away. Speedball Talisman being used by Copenhagen Wolves. Forgiven, caught out. Reckless doing damage on him, but they disengage.
Forgiven went all in on Peke right there. He might even have gotten too far in. He managed to net away though. He didn't have his flash. Had he been caught out right there, it would have been deadly for Copenhagen Wolves.
On the hunt was used, and amazing taking advantage of this slight respite. It's going to take away Dragon. That's going to close that gold gap once again, because this is going to be a lot of gold at this stage. You can see it's just 2,000 gold now separating these two teams 50 minutes into the game.
And right now, the fights are just, I'm hitting your tank, you're hitting our tank. Which one can survive the most? As long as the backline of Copenhagen Wolves can avoid the flash tables from Yellowstar, they will be able to deal a lot of damage onto Cyanide and Soaz, and they might actually be able to win the fights. Peke, however, if he's left alone, he will do so much damage.
Sweeping lands from Fnatic, clears out the ward coverage, and again, they start on the Baron. This time Yellowstar running interference, trying to keep them at bay. Peke with the mines, will it have done enough? Not too sure. Ace in the hole comes through, does get blocked off by Reckless, his Spirit, his shield. Instead, it's going to be Cyanide locked up again. Mega Inferno Bomb thrown out. Soaz coming to the back. Soaz doing a great job of singling out Forgiven. Forgiven can't get involved in this fight. Youngbuck is all on his own in this fight and will go down. Soaz simply running interference, gets away. Very tight though, so effectively a 4v5 because Soaz is not involved anymore.
He's gone right now. He will have home guard and try and come back, but he won't be here for the fight.
Forgiven doing damage around the backside, trying to catch on towards it. Peke very low, but there is minions all over the bottom tower. The final inhibitor turret. Kautar wants to get on towards Peke. Oh, that cocoon not quite landing on the back of Yellowstar.
Kautar has no flash right now. He really wants to flash in onto Peke, but he can't. Instead, Soaz coming down from behind, and they can get the 5v4.
Soaz back up, he's being forced away, corralled away, but that bottom inhibitor turret is taking a hell of a pounding from those minions of Fnatic. No, they just need to hold this siege out and they will take the turret down. Ace in the hole once again, blocked out by the spell shield of Reckless. Baron being started off, but again not getting caught out. Net 90 caliber net shot from Forgiven, gets stunned down, has to cleanse away, tries to run, Countdown goes in for Reckless at the back. Reckless is taken so low, he gets dropped, but he quickly gets the revenge kill. That's going to be Forgiven going down. Countdown on towards Yellowstar, doing a lot of damage. Peke comes in, has he got the damage? No, Peke takes him down. Amazing jumps on towards Peke, doesn't matter, gets the ghost out. Guardian Angel comes in, Unlimited trying to buy himself some time instead. He's just buying himself a death. Amazing tries to run to Baron, and it is the Fnatic finally cleans up. It's a 4-0. 4-1. Teleport, cancel that, Young Buck. You are not welcome here. Fnatic are going to push for the win.
And Fnatic simply wins due to being 5 versus 4. Youngbuck is the only man alive. He won't be able to do much in this defense. And Fnatic can either pick up all the inhibs or actually try and finish the game. They have a long time.
Fnatic pushing through here. The bottom inhibitor is going to be burned down. Once that goes, the Nexus turret will be next. They may be low on hit points, but they don't care about that. Youngbuck's going to flash on Peke. Can he get Peke down? Yes, he can. Should he be enough? Yes, he finishes off one. Can he hold on? There's a giant death timers here. He's just going to get dropped down, but is it enough to keep them up? 18 seconds on Forgiven. Fnatic going to push on through. The final Nexus turret will go down, and Fnatic's win streak continues. They will be 7-0 in the LCS. You've got to give credit to the Copenhagen Wolves. They did a great defensive job, but another 52-minute epic for Fnatic closes out the win.
And they are so experienced in these late game fights. They were just waiting for Soaz to come. They kept baiting out the Baron. They kept forcing Copenhagen Wolves to stay around the area. Once Soaz was there, they popped on the hunt and went in for the fight and won it. Copenhagen Wolves could have given up the Baron, but honestly, I think they just expected to get rolled over if Fnatic had also the Baron.
And you can see Fnatic not really jumping for joy at the end of that one, because that was a hard-fought victory. The Copenhagen Wolves put him to the test, Roccat put him to the test. Fnatic are not unbeatable. However, they are 7-0 in the LCS. The perfect season continues. Can they close on towards the record of Cloud9?
I want to say yes, but then you see games like this, which are so close. And this just shows also the EU LCS, how many teams can actually battle each other, and how good are these teams. Copenhagen Wolves rotations, after they stopped doing the risky plays, were amazing. They just managed to pick up turrets every time Fnatic made a misstep. In the end though, they had lost too much of their base earlier on, so they were forced to stay for this Baron fight.
What a fantastic game, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen some epics today, that's for sure. Some long games, some back and forth action, and some very, very close games. Because the Copenhagen Wolves could easily have picked up the victory there, should they have won out that fight. But again, simply managing to get these separate targets, working wonderfully.
And also on the hunt in the last team fight, as soon as they saw Soaz was there, popped it instantly, and they just managed to catch Copenhagen Wolves and kill them and win the game.
Wow, what a game, ladies and gentlemen. Final game of the day, but of course there is 4 more coming up tomorrow. We'll get to that in a moment. What big play in that? I mean, which one do you choose? Because there were so many rotations, so many plays, so many positional plays from both teams. I don't know which one to start.
I agree. There were so many things, and everyone played so well in this game. Amazing had a shaky start, but he pulled it off in the end and was actually a big factor in the team fights. If we have to point out, an MVP for the game, though, instead of the big play, Peke did everything right in the early mid-game, and he managed to pull Fnatic ahead and was just a constant pain.
Oh, fantastic stuff. So, that takes Copenhagen Wolves to 3-4. However, I'm really impressed with their start to the season. They came into the season, of course, with a 113-22 win rate out of the amateur scene, so we knew they were going to be big favorites coming into this. They're holding their own so far against the top teams.
But that's the thing with Copenhagen Wolves. Overall, they are a very good team. They don't have anything where you point at them and say, oh, this guy is a weak point, or they do this every game and lose on it. No, the team fight well, the laning phase as well, the rotations, as we saw, are also very, very good. And the champion picks all around are very strong for them. I'm very impressed, and I expect to see Copenhagen Wolves keep at least challenging Fnatic Gambit to these very close games.
Fantastic performance from the Copenhagen Wolves, but it was Fnatic that took victory. So let's head over to Shox and Joe, who are standing by with Soaz from Fnatic.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Yes, joined by Soaz here. You guys are still undefeated, but it was a close call. And let's go back to the beginning, because you guys only had one ban. It was Kassadin. But how did that mess up your game plan?
The game plan was kind of easy. We just banned Kassadin, and that's it.
So it's hard to really where to start with this one because it was such a long, incredible game. You talked to us before. I'm just going to go straight into it. And you said that's the worst game we've ever played. Talk us through that statement and why.
I think that's one of the worst games we have ever played, yeah, because we are just throwing, and my team was kind of trolling, and well, that's it.
You have to talk us a little bit more through that. They were kind of trolling, because you guys were so far ahead, and then all of a sudden you just decided to go in one by one, try and go for Baron. Talk us through the moment where it shifted.
I think PK was super fed, and he got super excited and just trying to do plays over and over, and Yellow was kind of pushing him, yeah, PK, and yeah, that's it.
So I have to ask you, you've played every single team now in the league, and you've beaten them all. But who's the strongest in your opinion? Who's the biggest challenger to, Fnatic and the first loss maybe?
I think the best team we faced was Rocket. I expected them to play a bit worse, but they actually played really good. We did a few mistakes like mid-late game, but overall they played really good with the setup they had. I thought they would fall faster with Pantheon, since he's not that good late game, but they kind of impressed me, and yeah, I would say Rocket.
But what about, Copenhagen Wolves just pushed you right to the limit. Do you think that was more you making the mistakes that you said, or are they that strong?
I think it's more us doing mistakes than them playing super good. Like, I think they played fine the game, but we should have ended the game way faster. And yeah, as I said, we did a lot of mistakes on this Baron.
At least you can laugh about it. But I think you're going to have to think this through, because tomorrow you guys are playing Gambit, and I can't imagine you can't make those mistakes tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let us do these mistakes again.
Yeah, they'll get punished for that. But still, you guys close it out, which is also a good thing. Congratulations once again. Undefeated still, Soaz and Fnatic. And now let's send it back over to D-Man and the Fisho to see how today's matches affect the standings. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Shox and Joe. And with 4 matches under our belt, here is where things stand currently in the European LCS. Fnatic, well, of course, they are still king of the hill. And having now beaten every team, they stand at 7-0. Of course, Gambit, they're netting a win today. And Rocket, well, they picked up a loss, which means they are both now tied at 5-2.
And Copenhagen Wolves remains in 4th place with 3-4. And we have another tie, this time a 4-way deadlock for 5th, where Alliance, Millennium, Super Hot Crew, and SK Gaming all have 2 wins and 5 losses.
And of course, on Friday, we'll be bringing you another full day of matches. Here's who will be going head-to-head. Starting off the day, well, it's going to be Alliance versus SK Gaming. Then it'll be Super Hot Crew battling off against Copenhagen Wolves.
Then we have SK Gaming, who takes on Rocket. And finally, Gambit will try to take down Fnatic.
That is all, of course, happening at Friday, 7 p.m. Central European Time. That is 10 a.m. Pacific. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the European Challenger Series to begin with today's quarterfinal matchup featuring the best of 3 between Meet Your Makers and Eyes on You. Jat and Freak are standing by to bring you that game right now. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Freak here with Jat, and we've got some really fun stuff going on. Of course, the European Challenger Series is here, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I'm Freak, he's Jat.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Had to make sure. I kind of forgot. I want to make sure I said it again. I usually get confused sometimes. And of course, this quarterfinal is going to be a lot of fun, just like last week's.
Yeah, Ninjas in Pajamas came back after losing the first game in their series, and then they won 2 games in a row. That was to kick off last week. Over in NA, there was a huge upset as the 8th-seeded Skyline beat the top-seeded Cloud9 Tempest, who was the Walking Zed. They were huge favorites. And in other NA quarterfinal, LMQ's mid laner, remember, Xiaowei Zhao, he put up some huge CS numbers. 300 CS at 2250, which there was a lot of debate whether that was a record or not. It's close, but also 400 CS at 29 minutes and 36 seconds, which even though we don't keep 400 CS records, I feel like that has to be it.
That's pretty freaking fast. I gotta give some props to him. Of course, tonight's quarterfinal fun continues with the former LCS squad Meet Your Makers battling Eyes on You in a best-of-3 throwdown.
Yeah, the winner of that will advance to next week's semifinal, where they'll look to take on the team that makes it up tomorrow night's quarterfinal between Cloud9 Eclipse and Pulse Esports.
And so if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then this bracket is worth, well, about how many you think it is. Take a look for yourself. Let's bring up that bracket. In the top half, it's going to be the semi-final match that's already been set. It's Nuke Duck and the Ninjas in Pajamas versus Tick Trick and Duck next Thursday, February 6th.
It's like a bunch of pictures inside a giant picture.
I know.
On Friday, February 7th, the winner of tonight's matchup between MOM and EOU will face off against the winner of tomorrow night's quarterfinal.
Of course, for more on the Challenger Series, be sure to head over to the new and improved LOLesports.com if you're not already there.
Yeah, pull down the menu under the Leagues and Tournaments tab, select the EU Challenger Series, and that's all you have to do after, reading and stuff.
Yeah, and typing in the URL, but that's easy. Yeah. You got it, guys.
Or if you have like a favorite, you can just click a link.
Yeah. Or if you have like autocomplete, I just type in LOLE and then enter and I'm good.
Usually.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, guys. Now, of course, it's time for our first European Challenger quarterfinal match of the week, Meet Your Makers versus Eyes on You. Now, for MIM, this is the first step in a very long journey to the way back into the European LCS.
Yeah, after earning a spot in the European LCS last year by squeaking past the Dragonborns 3-2 in that promotion tournament, MWM started off the summer split like they were doing great. Second place. They went 4-1 in week 1. Everything went downhill after that, pretty much until now. They only won 4 games for the rest of the split, and then they finished last in the league.
And so because of that last place finish, they got put into the relegation tournament. They got beat up by the Copenhagen Wolves 3-1 back in December, and now they're waiting some new challenger play.
Yeah, and it kept going because MOM then failed to qualify. Again, Lemon Dogs failed to turn in a roster, so MOM got another chance, if you remember. And then also, they only had to play against the one team, and they ended up getting swept 2-0. So they're going to need to pull some of this back. If any team's going to be able to do it, it's going to be MOM because they've been a team for so damn long. They're used to adversity. They're used to working around this stuff. They've just had a lot of adversity lately.
Yeah. But it just makes you stronger. They're going to be able to do it. We believe. You got to believe, right? Now, the team on the other side of the rift tonight is Eyes on You. They won a forfeit game in their very first play-in match, but then they squeaked by Unicorns of Love to earn a spot in today's quarterfinal.
Yeah, that game was actually extremely tight between those two teams. The kills in CS were pretty much even, but it's in the past, and the two players to watch in today's are their AD carry, Sir Scott, and their new jungler, Skipper. Sir Scott was 7-3-10 on Jinx in their win. Skipper, of the newest member, replaced Fears. Fears had a good game, actually. He played Kha'Zix, went 9-6-5, but that wasn't enough to stop him from getting benched. The score doesn't always tell the whole story. A lot of times you can scapegoat. A lot of times you think you're bringing in someone better, and hopefully Skipper is better for them.
Yeah, I mean, Skipper's been playing pretty well. He's in there in the solo queue, Diamond 1, I believe, last time I checked. So there's definitely some good talent on these teams. We are, of course, getting ourselves into Champion Select in just a minute here. And it's a best of 3.
Yeah.
You get into the top 4, and you start running those challenger points that are so important into the LCS road.
Big note as well, Yasuo is enabled.
Yep.
Which basically means Yasuo will be banned.
Most likely.
We'll see.
He even got buffed to 4.1.
I know. I feel like that was a little ill-advised, but that's what patches are for. League of Legends is an iterative game.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know what that word meant when I read it like 3 months ago, or like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to learn like how Rubik's Cubes work, and I was like, it's an iterative process. I had no idea what it meant. And I was just like, this does not help me whatsoever. For those of you who don't know, it's like, it means you do it like step by step or again and again to eventually complete something. So
there you go.
That's why it's patch 4.1. There's been, I was going to say hundreds of patches, but maybe.
Probably
hundreds of patches at this point.
Yeah. Used to patch every 2 weeks for like 2.5 years.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Every month-ish.
Roughly. So the Yasuo is banned. Interesting thing is, by the way, that's actually more likely a Kuban ban. He played Tryndamere back against NIP, and he's been playing a lot of Yasuo in solo queue.
Yeah.
Much more so than Charo. We've seen a couple of top lane Yasuos, but it's just one of the rarer picks.
Did we get the Tryndamere ban too? That would kind of be rare because, Kassadin still hasn't been banned.
Yeah.
Charu, you add teleport to Kassadin, he teleports more, and it's banned.
Yeah. He has been playing less teleport overall.
Yeah,
in the promo
I think he's having to move away from that a little bit.
It's an identity crisis for him, though.
It is, actually, because they won 4 games at the start of the summer split because no one knew how to play against Charu, and then they did. He's like, damn it, my trick is gone.
I should bring Revive. They won't know how to play against that.
Revive and teleport.
Yes.
Is Revive still in the game?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't do that whole big sweep of changes.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah.
They were in PvE for a week, and then we're like, no, never mind.
Soon TM.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, first pick Vi. Makata going to be playing that one of his heavily played champions. Interestingly, yeah, so highly sought after jungler, at least banned out, that makes sense. The Kha'Zix dropped away. There are still a couple of top priority picks, though, from pretty much every other role.
Yeah, I want to see Jungle Wukong in this game.
Well, you might see Jungle Gragas.
We might. I was having a conversation with Kobe the other day, and I said, Jungle Wukong, mark my words, in a month, is going to be banned in almost every competitive game.
Okay.
I said competitive solo queue game, but I'm changing it now. I think it's going to make it into pro play.
Well, you've got 2 days till it's February.
Yeah. Well, in an actual month of calendar days, not just like when the calendar switches over from January to February.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Jungle Gragas has been so successful, actually. Like,
yeah.
He's really, really making a big, especially over in Europe. I think we're seeing a little bit more Jungle Gragas. It gives them a lot of versatility too, and it makes the picking by MYM much more complex because a team like preparing for Jungle Gragas or like a mid Gragas is much different than when you know you're going up against a Jungle Elise or something.
You know what I actually liked watching the EU LCS is that Rokat ran Jungle Gragas mid lane Pantheon. The very next game, Super Hot Crew,
Jungle Pantheon.
Jungle Pantheon mid lane Gragas. And it's like, well, hope you brought armor and magic resist runes.
Yep. Exactly. They can start swapping them like that. It gives them so much versatility. We've seen a lot of Sivir as well in the European LCS today. We saw Candy Panda get about 500 CS on it. Reckless was victorious. Not as many CS, but still an incredibly huge number.
Yeah.
And it's basically just used to exploit mobility in a lot of these games because her late, like super late game team fights don't seem that strong.
Yeah.
In actual dueling scenarios.
No.
But you get the benefit just from having the move speed. I wouldn't be too surprised if MYM, it would fit perfectly actually if they wanted to bring in Tryndamere for their top lane pick.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would want a melee DPS character who can benefit from On the Hunt, especially the movement speed. It would be rather difficult to play against Renekton, though.
Kuban also has been playing a bit of Jax, which we have seen actually do okay against Renekton in lane. I feel like I've seen that matchup throughout Season 3, and it worked out okay.
So I was in a game the other day where it worked out okay, but if we track back to the Season 3 World Championships, it was like if you picked a Jax, Renekton was the auto-lock, and Renekton would almost always win. It is possible to do well on Jax.
Okay.
But highly unlikely if they're even in skill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe not going to see that one after all.
But I mean, nothing really beats Renekton.
No, he's the tallest.
Yeah. Olaf would also benefit hugely.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Sivir Ultimate.
I was wondering, Kuban hasn't been playing a lot of it in the recent past, but that was like, my brain was like, oh, it's going to be Olaf, but I was like, no, he's been playing Jax. And you're like, no, he's not going to play Jax, shut up, freak. And I was like, I just shut his head off.
Like, well, what if he plays Aurelion now?
Yeah.
He's playing Olaf.
That Vladimir synergy, he's been playing her.
Yeah.
Him a little bit. I saw Katarina and my gender swapped.
It would be a pretty solid last pick if they were to go with Katarina.
Interesting lineup. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So
has he been playing much of that lately?
Char hasn't been playing anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. He's been definitely taking a step away from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, MYM was playing with a new player, Chuyu.
Exactly.
And they actually ended up going back with Charo here.
Yeah.
They actually was kind of like a last-minute swap, actually. Charo had to make sure he was patched up and ready to play. That did work out. Of course, he's here.
Yeah, I'm going to say we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it's just roster moves. Basically, MYM tried to submit a last-minute substitution to get Sharu replaced with their new mid laner, but they did not submit it by the time of the deadline.
Yeah.
So there was a roster lock. They did not make the roster lock. Sharu did not think he would be playing today, but he is kind of helping out his old team that he is no longer...
I think he's officially in. Like, I mean, he's
on the sub, but they were not going to be using with him, so he was not preparing to play, and now he's in.
So he's on Katarina. Going to see how well they do with this. We have seen Kat a fair bit overall in Challenger. And I want to say we have seen her in LCS, at least in NA.
Yeah.
Eyes on you have their roster here. It is going to be a mid lane Gragas, by the way. Jungle Jarvan here picked up by Skipper. One of the only guys still playing Jarvan, actually, but a big proponent of that solo queue.
I'm expecting a lot of early gank pressure from Skipper. That's basically what Jarvan is good for nowadays. His jungle clear, while it can be fast, is not otherworldly.
No.
He's definitely fallen off, I think, mainly because of the width decreases on his EQ combo.
Yeah.
It's, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's substantially thinner.
I think it was almost halved.
It was like, I think it used to be 250, now it's like 160.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's much easier to miss that combo. He has to rely on his ganks. And I think he'd probably want to focus on Sharu and Kuban, just the solo laners. Makler's going to be a little tricky to gank with the Thresh helping out.
Yeah, and especially you think about the top lane. You've got an Olaf there. I mean, and I'm kind of going early here, right? Like, pre-6, okay, he's got the knock-up, whatever, and,
Yeah.
and I say yeah. But post-6, if Olaf does stick with Ghost, he can just get stuck in the Cataclysm. You've
Absolutely.
got even more fun stuff there for these guys.
Yeah.
So you're right. I really like him looking at the top lane. To me, I wouldn't go mid just because Cat can save Shunpo and just never get caught.
And just jump away. It depends how conservatively Shari wants to play that mid lane as well. Against Gragas, I often see Katarina's using Shunpo a lot just to juke around the barrels, kind of attack Gragas while his damage is down. But, of course, as soon as she does that, she becomes vulnerable to the Jarvan ganks.
That's true. And Charo, by the way, is bringing Ignite. He's like completely recanted his old ways. Teleport, no longer the thing for these guys. I actually remember he had an account. It was like, I think it was like called Teleport Mid Lane or something like that. Like it was a joke about himself. And he just ran TP mid, like on Twisted Fate. Like it didn't even matter what he brought it on.
I feel like that's the account where you like don't run with Teleport because you're so used to doing it on your main. You make the Smurf to practice new things, not to just beat up on kids.
No, I mean, he got the Diamond 1 Challenger with it just the same. He wanted more practice.
Because he was running Teleport. Yeah.
Of course. No one can beat Teleport.
He's just making sure the whole world knows how to play against it.
He's just like a really long-ranged Flash. And everyone already brings Flash, so why wouldn't you bring Teleport?
Depending on the length of the Teleport, it is faster ground coverage than Flash.
Yeah.
I think.
That's not even possible. Flash is instantaneous.
Yeah. But like just the button pressing.
Just like human skill at pressing F quickly enough. I'd read a script that would flash me across the map.
This is not a good tangent.
Not really. Okay, so here we go. Eyes on you, just milling about. That's weird. The Lulu's like chilling way far in the back. I feel like people don't do like the whole like lane swap deep wards anymore that you'd put down to like look for 2v1.
Well, it's because they're not even building wards. The Doran shields have been so effective on supports as far as dueling, and when they go with the Doran shield, they can't afford an actual ward. So therefore, they're just kind of contented not knowing where the jungler is because they want their Doran shield, and because if they don't know where the jungler is, they can still give themselves somewhat of early immunity by placing down the trinket wards as quickly as possible. I wonder if they're going to get a little bit screwed by that threshold, because Lulu's going to want to go ward over the wall. Ooh, a delayed invade by Thresh. Completely unspotted there.
And no, it looks like it's just going to be the ward, actually. They're not actually showing up for much else. They don't go for the buff at all. They're going to be late a little bit to the lane. They're not going to miss XP or gold, but eyes on you getting the first push in this lane. And I guess if you're in the back foot against Lulu Jinx, you just get shot at from out of your range.
You do. Sivir is a very interesting laner. Oftentimes, she gets pushed in a little bit by people who can outrange and harass her. But if she starts getting the shove on, she just takes complete control. And it does seem like Sir Scott is giving them that shove.
Yeah, definitely the early case here. Kuban and Koi actually early on, a lot of fighting against each other. With Renekton being such a good early laner and Olaf actually being pretty well aggressive himself, I feel like these guys are fighting a lot.
I'd say Olaf is absolutely someone who can go very close to toe-to-toe with Renekton in lane. I think the main reason you don't see Olaf against Renekton more is people will just play him in the jungle rather than play him in the top lane. I know in talking with Benny that Benny would love to play Renekton top lane. It's just it's Zuna's favorite jungle. So if they ever get Olaf, it goes to Zuna.
Well, Zuna, broaden your champion pool. I want to see Benny playing a little more Olaf. Same for Zion Spartan, I guess, as well. Like, you're almost never going to see Nintendo get the one up either.
Nintendo will play Olaf every chance he gets.
Yeah. Unless he gets Elise. I saw that once. It's like, oh, he didn't go for it. But that's fine. I understand junglers who want to play Elise. Makata just going to take away the rest of his Wraith camp, but Jarvan already looking for a gank bottom.
Yeah, first jungle gank from Skipper. He is unspotted here. I expect that he should go on to Libic. Otherwise, the Lantern might help. But let's see where he decides to go.
Can Lulu land the slow? Lands it onto Libic. There's the shield
Smart
slow.
gank.
Waiting for the flash. He's going to go for one. There's the flash. EQ. Oh, the play comes in too early. Kill picked up by Lulu. Flash away by Skipper. Well played, eyes on you.
Yeah, Makata's going to try and even this out. Would have been a bad idea, so he doesn't. I agree, though, that the Flay was off there. Libic may have been able to save his own skin, but it was the smart gank by Skipper there. So often, when people are ganking as Jarvan, they try and land the EQ combo right away. But it's so important to get the slows down initially so that even if someone flashes away, you can still close the distance with the EQ combo. That's why Skipper hit Libic first, then waited for the flash, and then chased afterwards. That's how you secure kills as a jungle.
That was incredibly well played. He EQ'd basically into the flash and got the easy knockup right there. Looks like an early back there by Kuban. Did lose a bit of lane pressure there to Koi. So we got to hand it to Renekton for an early start here. And that push into the turret.
So, pretty bad start for MYM. We were actually wondering before this whether Eyes on You was going to be able to kind of bring it to these games because they had that forfeit win, and their win in the last round was so close. It's hard to really judge the relative strength of these teams. There's another game.
And there's the flash from Charo. It does burn the flash, so that's pretty well worth it, but that's what you're talking about. Easy to dodge those ganks away if your flash is still up.
Yeah. At least he's cycled flash in 2 lanes now, and Makate's not cutting him off in any of his jungle paths, so he can somewhat live in this middle point between the middle and the bottom lane.
Uh-oh.
He's going to wait until there's no minion wave for that Charo gank, and he might be able to get him near the turret.
He has a trinket. If he's really sharp, he can Shunpo away and have a mini flash now that it's back up from cooldown.
He could.
That's what I'm going to watch for.
Yeah, that's why he actually checked back towards the Jarvan. He thought he'd be checking in that area, and if he could have spotted Jarvan, then he could have like trinketed over the wall and probably escaped. He just doesn't want to get caught with Jarvan and Gragas because that's the way he dies.
Koi dashes away, does not get hit there by Makate's Q, the Vault Breaker, not doing much. It looks like he's shoving the lane up. Kuban actually regened a lot of health since that last trade, and I'm guessing he wants to back because that you normally don't shove like that.
Yeah, this is the jungler coming to enable the shove. They want to try and get this into the turret and make it so Koi can't hold it in front. Otherwise, Kuban will get denied a substantial amount of minions. And they're just going to be trying to get some items. Let's see what he goes with, actually. This will tell us a lot about the lane.
Koi's going to match the recall with 11 more CS as well.
Kuban went with 2 Doran's Blades.
He wants to fight that guy. And that's going to cost 880, so maybe he couldn't afford a... Now, actually, with those items, that's 980. He could have got a Giant's Belt or that.
Yeah, I think he's just a little bit worried about getting over-aggressed, and he wants to sustain. He could have gotten the sustain with a Vamp Scepter, but then he wouldn't have gotten the health that comes with the Doran's Blades.
Yeah.
He's really worried about getting bullied by Koi here.
Yeah, Double Doran's way more stats than a Vamp Scepter. It's like 6 more AD, 100 and something. Oh, the ulti comes in onto Charo. Does have the trinket. Can he jump to anything? Gonna get not knocked up yet, but the body set's gonna land, and down goes Charo. Good pickup.
So Skipper's gank definitely paying off so far for Eyes on You.
Yeah.
Once he knew the flash was cycled for Charo, all that Power of Evil wanted to do in mid lane, he waited for the Shunpo and then hit him with the explosive cast.
Very well played on all fronts right here. Bottom lane, neither of them backing yet. Actually, not even a potion had to be used by Sir Scott so far, but the minions do hold pretty equally here. So despite everything that did happen early, it's a pretty close lane right now.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to Eyes on You, just laning phase in general. Everyone's seeming to come away on head. Let's see if Koi can out-duel knowing there's triple Dorans.
Yeah,
The
well,
answer is yes.
the ulti popped up by Koi. They're going to be pretty safe overall. Kuban going to be actually pretty happy under his own turret as well. Should be able to eat a last hit. Ooh. Oh, harassing pretty nicely, actually. Good damage there.
2 tower shots, not advised to be taken there. He's a pickaxe versus a Doran, so he's up in that way, Koi in the top lane.
Yeah. So Tiamat Renekton coming through. That's always a fun one. I like Tiamat Renekton.
Most likely. Not only does it allow him to shove the lanes faster, the Tiamat active will interrupt the lockout on the Renekton W, which allows him to burst substantially more damage. And he's going to want that if he's trying to push Kuban out of lane. I think this whole Eyes on You team right now is just trying to get all 3 lanes under control. That's why Skipper hasn't been ganking top lane as much. If he gets Gragas and then Jinx and Lulu going, when every lane starts pushing at once, he can just kind of constrict MYM and stop them from being able to make it. And so far, so good though, because the ganks have been working in the mid lane. It worked off in the bot lane, and Renekton is doing his job up top.
He's got a 1,500 gold lead now because of everything. No real turret pressure, no dragon pressure yet, but just the lanes themselves going to happy places. Jarvan waiting around the bottom lane again. We just keep tracking Skipper. It seems this roster swap, by the way, is working great for them.
Yeah, Skipper has been making plays. Unfortunately for MYM, their roster swap, they waited too long to pull the trigger. They don't look ready for this game, based on what I'm seeing here. They're just kind of out of sorts. Makate hasn't pulled out any ganks on Vi yet, and you know the rest of the game just doesn't seem to be going their way here.
Yeah, so we're going to be jumping into this one. Jarvan going into the ulti onto Limbic, and before we get into that, we do have to get a quick pause.
We pause at the worst times, Freak.
Yes, unfortunately. But yeah, we are on a bit of a spectator delay, so we see them coming.
Their flashes were up.
Yeah.
We'll be able to see that gank in its entirety when we get back from the pause. I hope.
Yeah, shouldn't be a big problem. We can always go back in time for it. Jarvan had ulted,
Yes,
EQ, no
the
big
answer is
deal.
yes.
Yeah, we're going to see the full gang. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we talked about the roster swaps then, because Skipper is obviously doing a very good job. He's not farming as much as Makata, but who cares? You got
That's
your
not
team
the
2
point.
kills. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course
like
not.
the Jarvan jungle is never been about farming.
No.
A lot of the junglers that we're seeing, at least recently, since the jungle items have been changed, have been like the damage-heavy farm junglers, and I love those type of junglers. This Jarvan's kind of a throwback into the Season 3 style of jungling.
Yeah, he's going to get an Ancient Golem. He might even go for an Aegis. Actually, I probably would go for an Aegis just because you don't want to get like reset crazy from Katarina. Just like put the Locket Shield down, delay the first reset, probably just win the team fight outright. I think
That's
it's
probably
really valuable.
really important, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that Locket.
Unless he goes Spirit of the Lizard Elder, Ravenous Hydra jungle Jarvan. Just tries to blow somebody up.
Makes no sense at all in
Really?
this context.
Absolutely
I
not.
like
You're correct.
I like Hydra Jarvan. It's fun. Top lane Hydra Jarvan's a
The
lot.
Locket on Solari is substantially better in this case.
In this case, yes, it is. But in solo queue, don't worry about it. Just build glass cannon on every champion, even Alistair.
Yeah, I want to see this gank though, and we're about to check it out again. So he's coming in. We're
I
live
predict
again.
Cataclysm onto Libic.
Nice call.
Yeah,
there's the fight.
There we go. The box coming across slow there. The Flame Chompers gets flashed out by Libic, and he pulls him back in. Goes onto the Flame Chompers, flashes away. Libic still taking damage. This Jarvan dropping dangerously low as well. Libic still under fire. Ulti comes out. Sir Scott picks it up. 1 for 0 down in the bottom lane, and Power of Evil is going to continue the train.
Ooh, that was like a death sentence in the wrong direction because he baited his team to re-engage even though there were more people coming. I don't feel like Power and Evil can overstay his welcome here. They got to watch out for the Vi ultimate. It is 4-3, but they know they're down a lot of spells. They might decide to go in. They won't.
No, they're just going to back out pretty safely. Sir Scott 0-0-3. Pretty much perfect score. Unfortunately, guys, we do have another pause, so give us 1 second, but at least we saw that whole fight come out. We're going to get that in a second for you guys. But
Burn
so,
Flash, got a kill. They were able to finish Libic for the second time in that one.
Yeah.
There's the pause.
Okay, so Skipper's doing well for his team, obviously.
Great.
0-0-3, wonderful stuff. Of course, the non-roster swap, very unfortunate there for Meteor Makers, but Charu losing his lane. Now, from talking to pros, they've said that Katarina is a losing lane. She will lose most of her lanes, but she'll have teamfight presence later on, and so you suffer through that.
Yes.
So aside from dying, I feel like being down 20 CS and Gragas, acceptable?
As long as he can roam effectively. Gragas beat him to the punch there.
Yeah.
Neither team really had an impact on the roam. And in order for the Katarina to have impact later, the other lanes have to do a little bit better.
Yeah. You've got to set up Katarina.
Exactly. Olaf, Sivir, Vi need to be able to not be far behind so that they can kind of start the fight. Because I imagine in a perfect world, we look at an MIM team fight, and it would be Sivir ulting in. While a Vi ult comes in, Olaf's right behind her. She's kind of clearing the way for Olaf. They run in, they start beating down on one champion. Everything's kind of going on, and then Sivir or Katarina jumps in for the start, and we're just kind of over. Hopefully by that point, Ricochet's gone around, gotten some people low, and Katarina can just kind of pile on.
There's a fair bit of AoE on that roster.
But that really requires Olaf and Vi to not suck.
Yeah.
Like, they have to be substantially farmed.
Yes. The other side of it, I guess, is because they do have Thresh in here, and we've seen some magnificent Thresh players. Vander from Rokat being a big one, where he just hits every freaking hook somehow. And they can play picks. They can catch out individual player. Like, Jarvan will probably EQ out, but anyone else they could probably catch up a little bit. And then Katarina can just go hit buttons on that person and get kills that way. And then kind of their team can move around as like a big unit. So I feel like there's still that potential as well. And that can at least help them catch up. That like they have this mid-game catch potential, and they can turn that into team fights later on once they get the gold.
Yeah.
Maybe. They've got to get to that stage,
I
but
think
it's
so.
always there with Thresh.
Yeah.
And if you're really cool, you can shump it to a lantern and then go somewhere else really far away.
You can, actually. You could... You can Shumpo to the lantern.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can target it with Safeguard, Shumpo, Leap Strike.
Yeah. Did you know? Apparently.
Yes. Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know? You can Shumpo, Safeguard, and Leap Strike to lanterns.
Excellent. Did you know that you can no longer do the start charging the hook on Thresh and then flash for like an instant hook? That got taken out. But you can do the flash. By the way, the way these flash things work, if anyone's curious, they see like these Gragas flashing in. If you're flashing like right before the end of a body slam and you flash into a target, it will apply the body slam right afterwards. The same thing works with Jarvan's EQ combo. The timing is just like exacting because right as the knockup is going to be happening, you need to flash to a new target. So you can actually knock up a target where your EQ doesn't necessarily land on them.
Yeah.
Right? You can do the same thing with Vi, Vault Breaker, but it's much more difficult to do just because it's so quick and you need to be flashing like right on impact. So a lot of people will just decide to flash and then hit them with the Vault Breaker. One that we might be seeing in the future is Alistair can actually pulverize Flash. So it's an instant
I didn't know that one,
knockup.
actually.
Yeah, exactly. He can start as pulverize and then flash immediately on the target. Lee Sin kick can do the same thing.
True.
You can start kicking someone in direction, but as the kick is coming off, you'll flash behind him and hit him. So there's a lot of these things, and if you're ever really confused, like, why did that happen? It's because of the flash stuff.
Did you know, when you're winding up Lee Sin's kick, you actually root your opponent?
Really?
Yeah, so this is what I've noticed from playing AD carry and getting kicked by Lee Sins all day. But it seems to be, maybe I'm just bad, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
When the animation starts, you're rooted for that quarter second. So you can't like flash and like change direction. Once he's started, you know which direction that person's going.
Yeah.
Because you can no longer move and reorient it.
Okay.
And then also, yes, as you said, during the kick animation, you flash, you change the direction, but that's different. Another one, actually, did you know? I believe, because Double have said this, and I trust him, condemn works the same way, where once you condemn, you can flash, and it'll orient where you are compared to them and hit them that other way.
Oh, yes.
So you can condemn flash and get people in weird directions. Very small time for it, though.
Yeah.
Another fun one.
I didn't know that one, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, AD carry mechanics, man. That's how they work. So here we go, guys. Kuban throwing axes into Koi, of course. Double Doran's Blade and a Chain Vest now. Looks like Kuban got to back just as Koi kind of farmed there in that lane, didn't pick up anything new for himself.
There's a fair amount of wards being built by MOM. They're in real danger of losing control of this game. Because they're building a lot of wards and they're already down. Skipper!
That was nice.
Steals the big Wraith. Putting most of his points in Q. That's what Jarvans do nowadays.
What do you think on W versus E? Second.
Ooh, good question, actually. I think it really depends on the type of game they're going for. If he's building tank items, I actually think he would want to max W second. He can do some substantial baiting for that too, since they're really going to be trying to keep Sharu down. I like the W max second.
Okay.
On tank Jarvan, if you're doing damage Jarvan, I'd like the E max second.
Yeah, more attack speed.
And more damage.
Definitely, also a big one.
Yeah.
It's actually, I feel like, I guess no, when you go for knockups on Jarvan, you still try to hit them with the E.
Yes.
I feel like you because like it's fast enough that you're not really like missing, like you're not betraying yourself by putting the E on top of them.
No.
Sharu, ooh, that was close. Gonna go for the fight back on a Power of Evil. Bit of damage there, but he's gonna survive.
Yeah, he's really losing that lane badly now. 30 CS down. Did not even have to burn Flash. Did ignite him, though. That just goes to show you how one-sided that lane is becoming. Skipper wanted to get there, but they should just take this turret.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Gregus didn't go for the body slam flash there, because I felt like that would have been enough damage to kill Charu. I was like, he body slammed but missed it, and then I was like, oh, but we were just talking about how cool this move is.
Yeah, Sivir down bottom.
Fire gank, he's going to land off of the flay and everything. Kunst not in a good spot, ults himself as Lulu. Do they have the damage? There's the box, and yes, they give the kill over to Mockler as well, so that's a nice one. Mid lane turret did go down.
Yeah, but they burned almost everything for that gank. It was really slick in the way they executed it. They do just get the Lulu kill after all, though. Do not even get turret pressure, and because they burned so much, I don't think they feel confident going for the dragon afterwards. Nice for them to get on the board. Great that the kill went to Mackler, but overall they had to invest a lot.
And Mackler's got to be close to getting a Bloodthirster, though, at least. So there's something for these guys. Looks like we do see Vi still looking for this one, actually. They are going to go for just a later dragon. Now that Skipper has already recalled and is nowhere there to steal, this actually might work all right. Lantern comes out.
Watch out for the Vi, or the Jinx ultimate. It's getting a little low. They got a lot of burst.
Okay, they got it. Makata got low doing this, but he's going to be safe.
Someone's got to block. Someone's got to block for them. Jinx, throw your ultimate. There it comes.
And goodbye.
Should have seen that coming.
Should have seen it.
Yeah. Even though they didn't have wards, you have to be aware of the Jinx ultimate. He did not try and take any turns in the other direction. It was very obvious that he would be backing in the back of the Dragon Pit. Easy kill there for Sir Scott.
Cops outsmarted 1. Good job here.
So hold on. I mean, okay, yeah, actually, I was gonna disagree with you for a second, and I was like, you know what? Vi's a cop. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, she's tracked in the buff. Like, it's canon, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wave's going to get cleared. Oh, that is not good for Lulu. The damage coming across. No ulti available. One more turret shot. Shields it. Mockler's going to land the Q and gets a Lantern out. Beautiful execution. That MOA on bottom lane making it happen.
Yeah, that was really nice. You definitely think that that is suicide for Mackler to go back into the kill. Lantern comes in and saves the day, evening out, really, their total death score in that lane. Even Libic has been ganked twice, but 2 kills have went down into Mackler. Bloodthirster completed. Good stuff.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, as far as the MYM roster goes, I think their bottom lane is, to me, their strongest section of the team. I feel like Mockler's very consistent overall, and Libic supports him quite nicely. So we'll see if it can come from them. Of course, they're the strongest part of this game right now for MYM, so it will be on their shoulders. You look at this top lane again, because we haven't seen much. We've seen them fight, but the builds continue. And T-Mat is done. Sunfire Cape soon for Kuban.
And we got to see that little attack reset thing. Right there, you just saw it. He used his W and a T-Mat right afterwards and unlocked him to use more of his spells. It's a lot of damage you can throw down. Still not really taking control too much of that lane, though. Only 16 CS ahead. And yeah, Mackler and Libic are doing quite a good job trying to come back in this game. I think a farmed Sivir will go a long way against this Gragas team comp as well. Only because she is substantially more resilient to Gragas' long-range damage than other AD carries, thanks to the Spell Shield.
Yeah, Spell Shield. You normally be like, but your range is so low, and then you're like, but I'm immune to your crap, so
yeah, but I got
back
a Spell
off.
Shield, so
exactly.
I block one.
So that's pretty good stuff. Of course, bottom lane pretty much equal, both back. They have these same builds. They're like literally identical. I think it's cool. Always a fan of that. I bet you their skill order is the same as well. That's all fine and good.
You know what?
I think Jax and Sivir both, 5Q, 2W. I would expect the same for Mockler. 5Q, 2W.
All right.
Play 80 carries, man. I know this stuff.
I thought you were talking about the junglers for a second.
Oh, nope.
Maybe that's two. Oh, look at the distance cover.
Look at the knock up there. Sir Scott getting pushed around. There's the pull back in. A lot of damage. 400 health left on Sir Scott and Mockler. Another kill. Man, happiness.
So that is Lantern directly into a Vi ultimate pretty much every time. So it's almost like a 2,000 range Vi ultimate is what it looks like. That is basically unavoidable.
Yeah.
Every time they want to pull that off. So well done for MYM for pulling it off again and again. Their execution on that move is great.
Speaking of getting executed, Skipper dropping down to half HP. Mokata coming around the side. Will he go for it? He showed himself. Now they know it's a 3-on-2. They ping him away. He's going to back off right there.
They don't have enough creeps. They would have wanted to do that directly. But I think once they see it's coming, they're worried about a potential response from the rest of Eyes on You.
Okay, so the easy back off right here. Interesting to note, by the way, Kunsk actually maxed his shield. He maxed health picks. He's got 4 points into it, only 1 in Glitter Lance. And I almost never see that from Lulu, but it's a very sort of defensive, shieldy opening.
It is, but we also have to keep in mind that it might just be because Sir Scott wants to be a bit of a front line. Bigger shield. Obviously, as long as you keep the E on him, he gets the health picks damage that obviously scales with level. But still, it's a defensive lane setup for those guys. They think they have enough shove just from Jinx, or they're deciding they don't want to shove anymore because every time they do, they get Lantern ganked.
Well, speaking of this one, there's the pull in on a Power of Evil, force the body slam away. 2/3 health on him, takes a drink. Eyes on You, a full rotation down here, but there's no minions to push with, so they're waiting a while.
No, we will not see a 4v4. I was hoping for one. With how farmed Mackler is beginning to get. And also, Sharu is keeping up in CS here. I have to credit MYM right here for sticking in the game.
Yeah.
After that start, where Skipper was getting so many successful ganks off of MYM, they really kept it together, and I believe that their scaling and at least their ganks nowadays are just much more successful, you know? Jarvan's pre-6 ganks, obviously really scary with this flag toss combo, but Makade, with that Vi ultimate, is just so damn deadly, and I feel like they might be going for another one. You can already see Makade coming out of base. Eyes on You basically just has to sit in their tower just because of the effectiveness of these Vi Thresh ganks.
Man, that's rough. The only lane they're really... no, I guess they're still really winning mid, to be completely fair. I was about to say, the only lane they're winning is top, but that's really not true. Just that bottom is a little bit rough for these guys. Small gold lead for them. Looks like everyone from the top lane is starting to roam down here. Dragon is up in 30 seconds. That might just be the reason.
Yeah, they should definitely go for this Dragon. Knowing that they have a level 12 Renekton as well. Rank 2 Dominus doing a whole bunch of damage. I think it's very wise if Eyes on You forces a fight there. This fight will tell us so much too. You can see that both teams are going down here. If MYM gets a little bit ahead here, you know Char is going to be able to get off a lot of resets because he does have his magic penetration.
Yeah.
This fight's interesting.
There's only like, I guess there's about 5 ways to actually drop his ulti out. Lulu has 2, Gragas has 1, Jarvan has 1, Renekton has 1. So, yeah, about 5 ways to stop Cattle. So, Charo can't just like, oh, they cast their only interrupt, let me go press R on people. They keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Ward coverage from both these teams, a little bit paltry. No, actually, ENU has actually pretty good ward coverage on this side of the Dragon.
Oh, here comes a fight. They catch out Mackler temporarily.
Barely in range of the Lantern.
On the hunt's been used, though. They might just re-engage this.
Oh, they're going to find Kunsk. A lot of damage there, and there comes the first. The spin coming across. So much damage coming through. It's going to be a 3-for-1 so far. Libic dropped low, but getting out right here. 3 kills. No, 3-2 now on this one. And who's going to get the cleanup right there? Charu's still around right now. 2-on-2 in this top side. Looks like Sir Scott keeping his teammates alive. Flash, Body's going to land. Char taking a bunch of pink power. Evil goes down, picked up by Kuban. Another 2-for-1 right there. Charu doesn't even go down. Not a 2-for-1. He didn't even die.
Yep.
What?
That was a big fight.
Yep.
Charu was very, very well positioned throughout the majority of that, and that was kind of the benefit of having Sivir in these mid-game team fights. They won't win like a very clean engaged 5v5, because if that was the case, the move speed would matter. But because Eyes on You used so much, and then MOM had the move speed to re-engage, it really caught Eyes on You off guard. They'd already used everything by the time this fight engaged, so they couldn't use like a Lulu wall to stop a Katarina reset chain, and Charu just kind of jumped all over. It's not so much about the ultimate than it is about her just being able to use W over and over again. And then as this fight continues, obviously the barrier was out near the end of it, and there's just some slick outplays right here by Charu. Obviously they're able to spike down power people. Watch how Kuban also assists with a lot of damage, though. The ultimate was back up, which surprised everyone. And then Zap was eaten by Kuban. Charu jumped over it.
And Char right there, I think, has the mastery for get 5% of your... No, because that's only on kills. He leveled up, actually. His health spiked up when the Gragas died.
Yeah.
But he had an assist on that one anyway, because
There's a chance he has both. I think that mastery would be almost a must on Katarina. You want to go full 21 offense, maybe even more. That definitely makes sense that he would have that mastery as well. We seldom talk about that.
Yeah.
But
dangerous game, 5% of your missing health and mana come back if you get a kill. Not assist, to be specific on that one.
That's why it's the dangerous game.
Yeah.
You're not sure if you're going to get those kills.
Nope.
Katarina doesn't usually have to play that game because she gets resets on kills or assists. You know, very few things only reset on kill. How many things only reset on kill? Darius ultimate is 1. Dangerous game is 2. Do we have more? I feel like
Mastery
almost everything else is
kill or assist.
Yeah.
Some are. I feel like some are double on kill versus assist.
Yeah, Mastery used to be like a full reset on kill, half reset on assist, but that was before his rework.
Jinx is kind of not even either. It's just that you deal damage in the last 3 seconds. You can get assists and not get a reset.
Yep.
I feel like that kind of counts. Click the lantern. Click.
Lantern. Mackler, do it. It's gonna go away.
Aww. No Thresh Express for you. It's fine.
Thresh came back to him. It's fine.
Evelyn used to, but that was actually, if you go back in the day, Evelyn was.
Evelyn
if
gets
anything
killer
died.
assist for W.
Yeah.
You know, Kha'Zix gets killer assist for his E. Tristana gets killer assist for her W. I think it's a very rare thing.
Yeah. It's the only one I can. Yeah. Well, there you go. Wait, what was the first one other than Dangerous Game? Darius.
Darius.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really not that many. Assists tend to be rewarded.
It's because it's so unreliable.
Well, sure. It's
Getting
dangerous.
kills. Yeah. Technically, I guess everyone can be a part of the dangerous game if they just spec the mastery. And they have the appropriate level requirement to have that many masteries. Can't forget about that.
It's true. Level 3 summoners can't play the dangerous game.
Nope.
It's much safer for them out there.
Too dangerous. Inexperienced kids.
Or adults.
Yeah, it's true.
Just summoners.
Yep.
Inexperienced summoners. Playing safer games. No. Oh, that's nice. See, they're working together there. It was dangerous to go alone in the Wraith camp, so they used the power of teamwork to kill them quickly.
All right.
That was nice. Charu farming away in the mid lane. Actually holding up in minions much better than before. Only down 20. I gotta say, it's pretty dang good. And I love this build. I hate it on the opposing team, but Deathfire Grasp Katarina.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that
it
sucks
is
so
so
much.
deadly, especially considering that Sir Scott doesn't have any magic resist and doesn't want to build any. He wants to sit back and be a happy little farmer, but no one's really that resilient to Charu. Oh, can they get over?
Oh, she missed it. She actually tried to flash
Can he
over.
get something? He's going to try and hook.
Nope.
Yep.
Flashed away. Skipper showed up, said, "Don't you dare." But yeah, Makata missed his flash there. He flashed onto a Flame Chomper. That was rough.
He wanted to do the flash, Vault Breaker, and then get the ultimate, because all they needed to do was reach one, and that would have been a kill for sure. So definitely trying to take advantage of their mobility right there, because they pulled ahead. in that last Dragon fight, and they're trying to take some edge here.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they can find anything else here. Top lane still holding pretty equal. And to be fair, Kuban has had a much better time in fights than Koi has, because he's 1-0-4 versus 0-1-2. So despite how rough this lane arguably was for Kuban, in fact, he's still down 40 minions, he's weathered that storm, has a Sunfire cape, and is like, still Olaf.
Didn't lose his turret.
Nope.
His team is doing fine. Renekton is under control. All good on the front up there. This would be rather bold. Katarina pings on the way.
Walks through a ward, though.
Danger, danger, danger. Gragas would come up and stop this.
Yeah, they're not going to go for it. Back down she goes. Skipper might try to cut her off. They're actually... And Char smells this. He didn't even see them... No, he did. He did see them come down. I was like, actually, I'm going to go around the other way.
All right, so Death Cap has been completed onto Power of Evil. That's rather large. There is a little bit of magic resist built on Mikade's Vi. It's a bit of a strange build, actually. He went from Tank Spirit to a Brutalizer.
Yeah.
You know, and also a Hex Drinker. So just building a lot of longswords, mostly.
It's a good build.
Yeah, especially since longswords are only 360 gold now.
The recipe's got unchanged, though, so that like almost doesn't even help you.
Correct.
Oh.
Unless you're stacking your inventory.
Yes, then you get an early game power spike until you turn them into other things. Then you're back on equal footing. But I actually like that just because it's more burst to set up the Katarina. Like, she has decent ratios, Vi, right?
Yeah.
So you add another 25 plus 25, 50 attack damage. Hexdrinker's 25, right? I'm pretty sure.
The what? The Brutalizer?
Brutalizer knows 25. Hexdrinker, I think, is 25.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure it's a very
20,
generous recipe.
20 or 25. I think it's 25.
I think so too. But yeah, so you got 50 bonus AD. Your Q is at least a 1 ratio. I think it's like 1.2 if fully stacked.
Yeah.
Your R is another, I think, 1 probably, I would assume.
It's also, I think, like as far as single burst damages, 340 at max rank is the single most damaging, like, 1-tick ability in the game, normal ability.
Yeah, it's close to Veigar's W, but I think Veigar doesn't even reach that high.
Veigar's is higher, I believe.
Okay.
But I don't know why I said that. 340 is just more than most Qs.
Yeah,
most
definitely.
Qs cap around 280.
That's true. 200s
For
are pretty
the
standard.
difficulty of landing it. It's her reward.
Yes. It's nice and far, too, which is always good.
We're going to have a Dragon Fight Redux right here.
Okay.
Basically, MYM is trying to force this one a little more heavily.
Yeah, they're winning now.
They would have some issues if Eyes on You decided to go straight in. This might be a bad fight. Let's see it.
Ooh, the knockback Makata very isolated there. The lantern comes across. Libic wants a friend, but no one wants to show up for him. The ulti comes across. So much pain coming out from Sir Scott. First one picked up. All the health bars are low for MYM. 2 kills picked up. Getting excited comes across. Makler getting chased down. Does Sir Scott have it? No spell shield. Goodbye. Double kill. Another one there. 3 for 0. Charu chased by a minion. Not going to get chased. This is going to be mid lane turret.
Yeah, so Eyes on You got the right initiation that time. We talked about how to fight against a team that has a Sivir ultimate, and it's not just in straight-up, clean 5v5 team fights. For the Sivir team, that time MYM didn't use any flanking advantages. Eyes on You got a clean initiation, and that's why they came out on top.
Cat's going to go for this one a little bit. Power of Evil goes forced to body slam away. Does make it out. They save the inhib turret with about 1/3 health.
Yeah, so a lot of pushing happening from Eyes on You after that one. Despite not getting the Dragon, they definitely come out on top. Just, like I said, a clean team fight right there. The Sivir ultimate got almost no benefit from MYM. And when that is the case, Jinx is just much stronger than Sivir in a straight-up fight. And considering nobody died on Eyes on You as well, Gragas is much stronger than Katarina, since she only got 1 rotation of her spells.
Well, safe recall there from Power of Evil. Yeah, Katarina not able to do nearly as much here, but is continuing to finish items. Now an Abyssal Scepter done, so full Magic Pen build plus DFG now done here for Chara. Mid lane turret does go down off the rotations though, so Meet Your Maker's getting something back off that last fight. And Chara actually still splitting top, dodges the knockup. He's safe too.
Yeah, getting a lot of damage as well on Katarina, so...
Wow.
Sure, Eyes on You 1-1 team fight, but they're definitely not out of the woods yet. This could be another team fight we see up in the top lane if they can catch a rotation. They're definitely getting the turret. I wonder if they'll stick around for more.
But man, Meet Your Makers though, like, they lost a team fight and killed 2 turrets.
Just went right back for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's some really good mid-game play calling.
Well, I think the main thing that
And still a
happened,
red.
I think the main thing that happened is the fact that Eyes on You stayed for so long and pushed up, and then knowing that Charu got a good amount of harass down before they decided to back up, meant they had the time to go back up and get 2 turrets.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily like a lost team fight to getting objectives. It was a punishing Eyes on You for staying too long to then get objectives.
Well, sure, but at the same time, the point is that, like, you normally expect the team that lost a fight to, like, to get dunked on, and it's like, you stayed too long. Mim realized that and then capitalized. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we're both right? Like, you're right, Eyes on You stayed too long, but I still like Mim for, like, realizing all the advantages to take.
Yeah. Part of being a team for so long,
yeah,
I think, is a big thing for these
You're
guys.
just in these experiences.
They didn't start the game well, but they're definitely playing the mid game now that I think everyone's kind of settled in for M1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good point. Because I'm wondering, like, how much Meet Your Makers is used to playing with a mid laner that's, like, winning all the time. Because Chu's been doing, like, I looked at their rank 5 history. Chu's been doing very well for them in their rank 5s games. Because you remember these teams, right? The cutoff for the next series for Challenger is in, like, 3-4 weeks. You've got to get to Challenger by then.
You got to keep playing rank 5s, exactly.
Yeah, all these teams have rank 5 histories. Every single one of them has a bunch of rank 5 games.
Yep.
Because they've got to make sure they get into Split 2 if they didn't make top 3 here. So Mim's been playing with Chuyu. He's been doing very well. Eyes on You has a bunch of games in the record. Most of them have about 6 to 8 games.
Yeah.
They're all in, like, Diamond 3 or 1.
Because they had really high, like, somewhat placements from last split.
Exactly.
And then as soon as they place here, they're going to get seeded highly as well.
Yeah. So they placed in a Diamond, basically, and played 1 or more 2 games since then. They're like, okay, we can make Challenger in a month. So, yeah, some early games coming through for these guys.
It's nice that they're good enough to be like, oh, yeah, we'll get Challenger later.
Yeah, right.
Fine.
Like, no rush. The funny thing is, like, the Challenger solo queue expanded to 250 teams, or 250 players.
Not 5s, though.
But not rank 5s,
Yeah.
exactly. And even still, it was top, what, 16-ish from...
Did you know? Same amount of players.
Huh. Well, that depends,
You
though.
said solo queue was 200?
250 or 200, I forget.
Yeah. If it was 250, it would be same amount. I believe Challenger solo queue is 200, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a few more players are actually in ranked 5s.
Yeah. You have 9 guys on a roster.
You do.
Or the same 5 guys could make 50 teams and have less.
No,
or
you
could
can't.
be.
You
or
can't.
You, what?
You could max 5 teams.
Okay. So partial. You can cut up some of it. They could have Smurfs.
Honestly, ranked 5s is like the best part of playing League of Legends for me.
I really love it.
Yeah, it's just really hard to get a team to go you can play with consistently. If you can, though, it's worth it. This game, though, a lot of split pushing coming right now. Big item thresholds for the 80 carries as well. Mackler with the Infinity Edge is absolutely huge, but he's not with the team right now. So if Eyes on You would want to try and dive something, they'd have to go very quickly because Sivir's going to push turrets extremely fast.
Meet Your Makers should know this, but they're playing relatively aggressively. They're moving out away from their turret. They're keeping track of their opponents with wards. There's actually Koi who's sent back to recall to fight Mackler one-on-one, but this turret's going down.
Yeah. So sloppy rotation right here by EOU. They're not going to make any headway in a 4v4 down bottom. So they basically just lost turret and a lot of farm to MIM. They might want to fight, no 80 carry, if they could have gotten that explosive cast backwards. I guess having no 80 carry for this Renekton tells them they can go.
Yeah, that was surprising. Oh, the ulti block at Kuban and the flash, just to make sure the splash doesn't kill him. Libic survives, but Eyes on You, full health bars, 4v3.
Trying to make the best out of a bad situation right here. They definitely know they have the 80 carry mismatch, and they're going to keep pushing back through. Gragas ultimate will not be up for quite a while, though, and that was really the catalyst to get all this started.
So only 3 ultimates up for Eyes on You, and they're not going to get much out of this, actually. Just that turret. Kind of a trade right there. An inferior turret, but they got one at least. Meet Your Makers does not get a pinch. I was wondering if they're going to send Mockler like around to flank, but
Dragging up. This could be the fight they want to dare MYM into. They're grouped up right now, so if MYM fights, it might be clean. Let's see. They talisman away. Ooh. It's because they were down ultimates. If they had the Jinx ult and the Gragas ult, they would have fought that heads up, but it's smart of them to be able to run away.
So Meet Your Makers look mid. They realize Eyes on You are on the retreat. Libic did manage to heal in the interim, so he's happy right now. Going towards... Interestingly, they actually built a Chalice. Didn't go Ascension yet. Ward swept out. Mid lane still pushed. Lulu did back. Well, they go for this one. Skipper dropped a little bit low. Slows on a Kuban. They might chase him
I think they're
down.
going to go on this.
Skipper's looking for it.
Even though Lulu wasn't there, I think it would have been a good time to go. There's a couple missed opportunities for both of these teams. I think when MYM was at the Dragon Pit, and they knew that Gragas and Jinx had no ultimates, Mackler could have used Sivir ultimate to start a fight. And I think right there, after getting Kuban so low, it would have been worth a Jarvan ultimate.
Makata gets the red buff, gets a lantern, gets out. Nice escapes right there. Man, Libic has been friends with everybody this game.
He's a friendly fellow.
Could you count like not deaths as assists? Because he did like 30 this game. Like he just, anytime someone takes a lantern like around 3 enemy champions, you're like, plus assist, 30 gold.
That would be the most
abusive
exploitable
mechanic.
thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I can just smell exploits all over that. You're like, oh yeah, the Baron almost killed him, and he threw a lantern in, so plus 100 gold.
Hey, supports needed more gold in Season 4, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah. Just only Thresh gets
They
his power.
have a lot of it, too. I feel like if people were more willing to build the Targon's Brace or the Relic Shield, Face of the Mountain, they would have the gold. Still love that item. It gives so much gold. People going for the safe choice, though. Also, the Talisman of Ascension active is so powerful that
That's true.
it is very hard to pull yourself away from it.
It is a very, very powerful item. You know, they got Sivir at least, but they're going to go for maybe both. I was trying to talk about earlier, like, I was surprised that Libic hasn't gone for Talisman of Ascension. He stopped by for Chalice to go towards, I'm assuming, Mikhail's first.
I think so.
Because you're not, like, going to his Thresh much. So it's like, I really want a Mikhail before I went Ascension. And I realize they don't need it because they have Sivir.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just so good.
I think they're just trying to, trying to make sure that Libic doesn't get one shot as well if he decides to go in. I think the magic resist is probably a little bit higher on his priority list.
That's a good point. There's no combat stats on Talisman of Ascension.
No.
I played a game where
just
I, like,
health and mana regen.
Yeah, which doesn't help you that much. Unless you're Mundo, then it's a big deal. Then health regen's a combat stat.
These guys really just waiting to try and find a clean initiation. There's
a
a lot of push and pull since they've kind of traded big team fights these last few times.
It's true. Well, eyes on you, they look like they really want to push. They got a blue elixir on a Gragas. He's got 3 completed big items. No Void Staff, actually. Got an early Zonias. I guess he's worried about resets there, but it's going to lower his damage somewhat.
Mackler is a huge priority target as well. 4 damage items on Sivir. There's just an immense amount of penetration on Sharu right there. That's as much as you can get in a build. He goes...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart, actually.
I like that
with
build a lot.
DFG.
Someone will die to a full combo.
Yes, especially if you get on a squishy. Well, that's why we see the Banshee's Veil coming
true.
on Sir Scott already.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, eyes on you cashed in all their money on, like, a defensive build, so their damage is lower. But if MYM can't punish that...
MYM's going to want to get this if Olaf can flank around the side. Keeps Vault Breakering into traps. It's like the 3rd time he's done it.
Right? All right, well, not going to get that one yet. Jumps over to the Wraith one. That Vault Breaker at least went and he could walk afterwards. We haven't seen Sivir ults in a long time either. Like, MYM are really not forcing the issue here.
Yeah, there's a lot of cooldown discipline right there. I think it's a combination of these teams wanting to find like a perfect initiation and also both thinking they have a really good shot late game.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Right here. Yeah, because right here, like, Mackler is damage-wise stronger than Jinx. Sharu's Katarina at this point I think is stronger than Gragas. You know, the Vi Olaf is stronger right now. But if we think like really hyper late game Jinx, assuming that they can't just kill her with the Vi combo, is incredibly threatening. You know, isolate someone back with Gragas, spike that person down, and then maybe move from there. I would still say late game MYM most likely has the edge, as long as Sivir doesn't get horrendously outscaled, which isn't the case with 354 CS.
All right, so she's pretty happy right here. We're looking at just standard splits for these guys, and they're kind of like, I feel like it was like really tense for like 2 minutes, and then they're like, all right, you know what, nothing happened, we'll back off. And I always wonder like what goes through your minds, because like from playing like the really intense games, like you feel like you have to like keep pushing for advantages, and you're like, okay, we've got to like, someone move, quick, go top, like do all this forcing, but then sometimes you're like, just go back to the lanes, like chill out, get the farm, like.
Well, they've been doing a lot of chilling
calm down.
They've been doing a lot of chilling out this game. The last point of action was at the last Dragon, where they just kind of ran away from each other. That was about 5.5 minutes ago.
Yep.
We're going to see another Dragon soon, though. So maybe we'll see something there. It's really about clean initiations. Eyes on You just wants to be able to get a barrel and isolate a target properly so Jinx can start cleaning up, whereas MYM really just wants to get a Vi-ult on a good target so Sharu can go in and finish. That may have created something, Shunpoing in like that, if Eyes on You was more willing to capitalize immediately.
MYM's looking.
But they're not. They're definitely trying to get something. Like if a hook lands, I think they'd go. You know, Sharu Really going really heavy. There's the ult.
There we go. So Scott forced to flash over the wall despite the Banshee's Veil. Doesn't even want to risk it right there. Makata jumping in forward. Nice Gragas ulti. The play back on the front line. Skipper's going to push people back around. Renekton's going to run back as well. Makata in the front line. Skipper's going to get dropped down. Kuban. There's 2 kills for Meteor Maker. Sir Scott, goodbye. 3 for 0. Nice.
Yeah, that was clean right there by MOM. No one could get engaged on at the right point. Eyes on you. Skipper couldn't get anywhere close to Mackler, which meant Charu could just bide his time and go in when he wants. They get the hook as well. This could be the game, Freak.
Wow, Charu is godlike. 7, 1, and 2. 30 seconds of the death timers. Inhibitor turret going down. Couple of minions following suit with the team. 40 minutes in. Yeah, this game might have just exploded.
Yeah, they just killed so many people. It was late enough in the game. It was a crisp enough team fight that now they're all just pushing in. That Nexus is going down. Lulu cannot defend it.
Turret number 2 is going to go down. Meteor Makers looking to make their way back into the LCS in this quarterfinal Challenger Series matchup. It's going to be Nexus number 1 making Meteor Makers 1-0 versus Eyes on You.
And that game was not easy.
No.
Let's be fair. They were down a substantial amount of gold in the early game, 2,000 or 3,000 before the first Dragon fight. But they did have the superior late game team composition and also the ability to find the right team fights. We had a very long lull in the mid game right there, but they were able to just find the fight, save Sivir, keep Katarina safe, and just not get engaged on.
Yeah, they juked all the engages, and that's what I kind of liked about what Sivir ulti did. So compared to conventional engage was like, okay, I flash timbers you, the fight starts, but then all of these repositioning tools have been used.
Yeah.
Where Sivir ulti lasts like 8 seconds, and so you're like, okay, we didn't get you in the first second.
So just
use
loop back,
your engage.
Go back in again.
Yeah, at second 5, you can go back in and still have 20% movement speed. And that's why they caught up again. It was really cool. They used the first half to get away from the tools and come back in. It was fun.
Yeah, I think actually it took MOM about 15 minutes to find their bearings again. They've been playing a lot with the other mid laner. They had to play with Charu again.
Yeah.
I would be very confident if I was MOM going into the next game, knowing they came back from behind. They were scrambling to get here. Now I think they're going to be settled. And I think it's a pretty good chance we get a 2-0 here.
There's a good chance for these guys. They were looking pretty good. And even like you think of Champion Select, they didn't play a lot of super high priority picks.
No.
Right? Like,
I mean, they first picked the Vi.
Yeah, like Vi's up there, right? But that was like, you don't see that many support bans that are on Thresh, right? Like, Annie we see get banned out a lot, but like, Thresh you can kind of just get a lot. Like, Saver you tend to just kind of get a lot, right? Like, Katarina's not a high priority pick. So, unless they just have a very distinct champion pool that can get banned out and they don't play the standard stuff, like, Meteor Makers kind of brought their own comp that's really like easily acquired, and they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, Katarina, strong pick right there from them. The Sivir only worked because of the Vi pressure.
Yeah.
So if we're thinking about Eyes on You and how they can kind of attack this the next game, they won the early game jungle pressure, then the post-6 jungle pressure went the other way. They should either pick or ban out Vi, because I think that was really the catalyst for a lot of these comebacks. Their lanes were winning. It was just the jungle ganks that seemed to get them back in there. And then once they got even, obviously it was the team fight presence, but none of that would have happened if it hadn't been for the repeated bottom lane ganks and Vi getting so many kills.
Yeah, it really turned it around. Of course, congratulations for Game 1 for Meteor Makers. But guys, we got to take a quick break. When you return, Meteor Makers try to make it 2 in a row and win their way into the semifinals. Don't go anywhere. 2014 European Challenger Series will be right back.